something.
Someone else not here?
Yeah, Bones is not coming because it's too hot. So he's not coming.
You should have said it's immersion for Cholt.
You see, that's Pyro's character's immersion for Cholt, because he's the one that's going to be absolutely dying with his heavy armor.
Oh. I
I
don't
don't
have
know.
a thing against heat.
Well, you don't, but your character does. Lodge, is your thing broken on purpose?
Nah, it's pointed at a wall. Because
okay.
I'm currently not wearing much clothing.
Why are you naked?
So that's how he D&Ds, apparently.
Okay, so it's really hot in my room too, but I'm not a bitch, so...
It's like fucking 30 degrees in my room.
And?
Never
Is
even
that
got a
Celsius
chance to
or
finish
Fahrenheit?
writing all this
Of course
stuff.
that's Celsius.
Celsius.
Okay.
30 degrees of
No,
the
I'm sorry.
freezing
No,
him.
I'm an ice cube. What am I saying?
It's like 80 something Fahrenheit,
I don't know why it's so hot because the last few weeks have been getting
Channel
chillier, and now it's just
Moved
back to
out.
summer.
I think it's been like 16 all day.
But I wish.
Man, that's cold.
So-
61 in Fahrenheit.
We may
That's
as
still
well get...
I know.
We may as well get started. So, previously, on Dungeons & Dragons, our heroes finally arrived in Cholt after a long 2-week trip on the Gleaming Endeavor. During which... Oh yeah, I guess Loage wasn't here for this part. So partway through the journey, Loage, you came to the realization that the extra eye you've been growing on your neck is getting bigger.
Nice.
So it's definitely, like, growing in size. We'll try and address that some more this session, as it has continued to grow. So you guys arrived in Cholt. Mostly you've been trying to find one of the, get in touch with a bunch of the merchant princes. In particular, one, Wakanga Otamu, who, one of your benefactors, Sindara Silvermane, if I remember her name correctly. She wrote you like a letter in that she's an old friend of Wakanga Otamu, and she's also afflicted with this death curse caused by the Soulmonger, the thing you've been sent to Cholt to find and stop. She's sort of given you an in with one of the princes, but you have been unable to get an audience with him as of yet. You were able to get an audience with Ifan Talroa, who is the merchant prince in charge of beasts and beast training and breeding and whatnot. And he has sort of taken a liking to you and has gotten you guys a good deal on a dinosaur. An old, busted well, not old, a young, busted Tyrannosaurus. Sort of a weird birth defect.
I thought it was
Triceratops.
Triceratops.
It's such a birth defect. It looks like a
yeah.
Triceratops.
I meant Triceratops. But yes, so you guys went and purchased yourself a Triceratops with, only one good horn and like a weird head tilt and lists kind of lazily to the right from a man named Rada, who's known as he's kind of the joke among all the other breeders. Like all of his dinosaurs are kind of crummy. So mostly people just get his dinosaurs for like beasts of burden as like pack mules and stuff like that. He's not sort of the pedigree to breed racers, but this Triceratops he believes could do it. It could be the one so he can make a name for himself again. So through Ifan, you were able to get him for a very good deal, and you are planning on racing him tomorrow in the big dinosaur race. Throughout your journey around, you also became quite friendly with a man named Volothamp Gedarm, writer of this new book that he's got out called Volo's Guide to Monsters. And Jez bought a copy of Volo's book. Volo's he knows some of the merchant princes, and he's trying to, honor all of them with signed copies of his book, but he's been kind of unable to get an audience. You guys hung out with him for a bit. You also saved a young wizard, like a young wizarding student, who got mugged by a couple of tabaxi. A young man named, what was his name? Dustin Loyalin. Yeah, there he is. Dustin Loyalin. But he's here learning to be a wizard or some kind of arcane person. And he was beaten up, had his stuff stolen, and you guys stopped them, gave it back to him, had a good old time beating up cat people. It's awful, awful, poor cat people. But we ended off with you guys leaving the pens, the beast. I guess beast pens is the best way to call it. Like all the breeding grounds and that outside the city in the Tiriki anchorage. It's getting to be later in the evening. You guys are starting to head back so you can get some sleep. Your dinosaur will be brought to the starting lines by Rada. Like he's gonna handle all that. You guys spent the day painting him up, getting accustomed. Jez got some time riding him in to like practice, his dinosaur riding, so he doesn't just get bucked off and thrown off like the second the race starts. So
Also, for the people that weren't here, Romalia told us to meet with some guy named Artist Simber about his ring that the Harpers want back before the Zens get to.
yes, it's not so much meet up with as you're trying to find him. Artist Simber was a former Harper who disappeared here in Cholt. Like he came to Cholt to hide out, and he has a very powerful ring that he's been kind of hoarding to himself, and the Harpers are looking for him because they want it back because the Zents are after it.
And the ring doesn't let you use any type of
Scrying.
divination to find him.
Yeah. Like that was the only thing she was willing to give up to you guys, was that the ring has a like anti-divination property to it that keeps it from being detected by magical means, which is why they're having so much trouble finding them. But that was an aside. It was basically like, hey, while you're down there, maybe keep an eye out for this guy, as a favor to me. Oh, I forgot to send out the thing. Live with usually I have this whole thing like typed out and I just have to hit enter. I got distracted with like Chrome not working. Twitch was fine. Chrome is bad. Stupid Chrome. Don't like you, Chrome. So, you guys, as you guys make your way back into the city proper, back into the was it the Red Bazaar? Yes, the Red Bazaar, which is the area you've been kind of staying in. This area of the Market Ward is kind of known as the Red Bazaar. It is one of the major shopping areas. It's also home to a couple of different places to stay. The more raucous Thundering Lizard. That's even throughout the night, you guys have you can hear the people there like partying and fucking whooping it up to all hours in the morning. And then also Kaya's House of Repose, where you were staying previously, which is a much quieter, more comfortable place to stay. It's a little more pricey than the Thundering Lizard, but peace and quiet is worth its weight in gold. So, you guys start making your way back in through the bazaar, and I would like everybody to give me a round of perception checks.
I better not crit this and waste my only good wisdom roll.
Oh no.
You could just choose to not look, or you just choose to look at your feet for the
There
entire
we
time.
go. Getting him out of the way.
So Pyro and Wacky, you guys notice three sort of leather-clad, almost mercenary-looking men that seem to have cornered this really old Chultan man. Guy looks like he's probably in his like 50s, 60s, if not older. And they've kind of got him cornered, and you can see that they're not like beating him up or anything, but they seem to be talking kind of forcefully towards him. You can't really hear what they're saying from this distance, but they definitely seem to be interested in this old man for some reason.
Are they adventurer type looking people, or are they?
No,
goblins?
they're kind of more like merc slash, I don't know.
Ruffians.
Yeah, kind of ruffian looking. They don't look like the friendly sort.
Well, gonna go up to them and ask if there's a
Same.
problem
I'm
here.
gonna like nod over like the rest of the. Like I'm gonna point them out to like the rest of the party and then go over with Wacky.
Or stand there and be like, is there a problem?
So, you guys are going to go all the way to them? Because right now, you guys are probably about 100 feet away from them right
I
now.
want to get close
Yeah.
enough to hear what they're saying. At least, like, once we're in earshot, I want to know what they're saying.
So, as you approach, you can hear that they seem to be asking... they seem to be pressuring the old man into doing something. You hear something about finding someone named Artis Simber, and they don't seem to be taking no for an answer. The old.
That's the guy we're looking for, right?
Yep. Well, that's the
One of
one.
the people.
That's the guy that was mentioned to you by Romalia.
Yeah, do what I said before. I'm gonna go up to them and ask them if there's a
Continue
problem.
walking.
So, are you approaching them alone, or are
I'm-
you?
No, I'm there.
I assume the party would be coming with us.
Yeah, because
Well,
I kind
if
of told
you
them,
veer
hey
off-
guys, come
Yeah,
over here.
we'd start going towards where you're going.
So, do you approach them as a group, or like the two of them? Basically, Lawaj and Jez. Are you going with them to approach
I
them,
don't
or?
care, so I'll just watch.
Okay. So Lawaj is leaning up against like a tent post, a little ways back.
I'm not very imposing, so I'll be there, but they probably won't
I'm
care.
sure Bones is with us too.
Yeah.
He's
Uh,
Uh,
he-
Bones disappeared back to the inn. Like you
We
look
can't-
around, you're not even sure where Bones went. He's like, he must have gone back to
Probably punched someone and ran.
probably. He's probably finding someone with like PTSD and or severe claustrophobia and like trying to like trap him in a box or something.
That path to the dark side really should have been more obvious to us.
A little bit. Even Lawaj is like, pfft. I'm like, man, jeez,
That's
guy,
it.
a little too much.
That's mean.
So, the three of you approach, and the other guy's talking to the old man. They just kind of like look at you and like, what? You got a problem? We're having a private conversation here.
I don't think that old man is very happy with this
gonna-
conversation.
I'm gonna look past them and try to like see the old man and ask him if he's okay.
He kind of starts to sort of like stammer out a reply, and one of the goons just says like, the old man is fine. We have no interest in harming the old man.
Somehow I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
That
Is that an insight check to the old man or an insight check to the guy who said that?
The old man.
You think that the old man doesn't really believe that you think that the old man is, possibly might be hurt by these people if they don't give him what he wants. He doesn't give them what they want. That's probably the better context for that.
I'm gonna say I don't think the old man believes you.
it's
I think your conversation is over.
I'm just gonna. I see
Dude.
this is going swimmingly. So if I see any like violent action, I'm just gonna shoot the first person that throws a punch or swing at one of my party members.
What? Oh, okay. What if we're the first punch? What if the old man is the first punch?
So you see like one of them kind of whisper into the guy that's been kind of like taking the charge here, the guy that was originally addressing the old man. You see one of the other ones kind of like lean in and like whisper some things into his ear. And yeah, he kind of like looks. He's going to perception check the three of you. He's going to say, look, you are obviously new to Port Nyanzaru. Things work a little differently here than they do in the north. Like, I would be very careful, like, who you associate yourselves with and who you address in such manners. And then he just kind of like nods off to the side, and him and his three friends, I don't remember how many I said. Him and the obligatory amount of goons sort of stride off. They go off towards the north, and soon they're out of sight. They seem
And check with the old man if he's okay.
He says, "Thank you." It's like they were asking strange things of me, and I was trying to explain to them no, but I do not think they were going to accept no as a feasible answer.
Yeah, they didn't look like the type.
Then he kind of looks at you, and he says, "It's you.
Hmm?
You are the one from my dream."
Huh?
Been
I'm just
dreaming
over
of
He
here.
says,
you.
Off the map.
my name is Grandfather Zitembe. I am the head priest over at the Temple of Savras. I have had many visions, many dreams as of late. And you and your friends were in one of them. So come, I must meditate on this. Please, could you escort an old man back home to his temple?
Of course.
How much time do we have? But yeah, we're gonna do that. But like, how much time do we have until the race? 'Cause we
Well,
gotta be
that's
there
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. It's
Too.
like dinner time. Like it's like early-ish evening right now. So you got like lots of time.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes, of
Marco
course.
will
We'd
be
be,
open for
we'd be
another
happy
3
to.
hours.
So he thanks you. He leads you guys all the way up and around this big round building in the middle of the fancy ward where all the merchant villas are. As you approach, and the doors to this very old-looking temple have they have a gigantic just monstrous-looking eye, and that seems to be like the symbol of Savras, of this religion.
Before we go in, do I see the bridge dude on the bridge?
Bridge dude? Oh, what,
yeah,
your
the
friend?
guy who takes all the bribes. I forget his name.
What, Ebo?
Evo.
Tet?
Yes. Do I see him?
Not currently. You do see some stragglers still lined up, hoping to get in to see a prince. The line doesn't seem all that long, and you do not see your friend Ebo.
He's probably over here or letting someone in.
Okay.
So, Grandfather Zatembe leads you in. You can see that, it's kind of a modest temple. It's not overly ornate in any way, but its eyes seem to be the fixation of this religion. Like, you see many symbols with large eyes or crystal balls filled with eyes. So, sight or vision seems to be a sort of a focus of Savras.
I like what you've done with this place.
Grandfather Zatembe just turns back to you and just kind of, he's like, I see what you did there. And then he chuckles to himself.
Is there any store selling ice cream nearby? Just all eyes.
So, he goes over and he sort of kneels at like an altar and kind of offers like a silent prayer. And he says that us here at the temple, we offer our services of divination to the people of Port Nyanzaru. These men were looking for somebody. They wanted me to track somebody down for them, this artist person. But I could sense the evil in their intentions. And if there's one thing that Savras cannot abide, is helping those of evil persuasion.
You think lying would be easier than threatening someone? That's just screaming evil.
Well, those men, I've seen their kind in this town. They think they own this place.
Who are they specifically?
I am not sure, but I think they belong to the same organization that some of the palace guards belong to. Some dark and sinister organization of some kind. Something not of Chult.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Romalia
an
didn't
idea.
tell us anything about the
Would
Zentarum, right?
I know? Because I do have associations with the Harpers.
would you know if
If
Like-
they were Zents. Or if he's referring to Zents.
you might suspect it. I believe I thought Romalia did tell you guys that the Zentarum were.
Yeah, they were looking for Artisimber.
Yeah,
That's one.
and I think
but we don't know what they look like. Is what we mean.
yeah, I think she also mentioned to. It's either her or Volo mentioned to you that the Zentarum sort of like are also hired as like the Zentarum mercenaries are like hired as guards and that by the merchant princes.
So yeah, put one and one together to make.
And
three.
so I...
So they've
Don't
got a
like
good
Volo.
foothold in Chult.
Oh, good.
So he tells you that it's like, yes, I've seen your faces in my dreams. Please allow me to meditate on this for a while. Please make yourselves comfortable. This will only take an hour. And he sort of like makes himself like this strange, kind of looks like tea he's making, but there's all kinds of weird ingredients going in it. Stuff that like none of you have ever seen before. They must be sort of local flora and fauna. I guess not fauna. Yeah, he's putting bugs in it. He's putting like deer in there.
He's using drugs to hallucinate
Pretty much.
and divine.
I do
Divinate.
that.
That's a Melange thing.
So he goes into sort of a meditative trance, and that kind of like leaves you guys there to, if you want, you could leave if you really wanted to, but he seems to be kind of just zonked out in his own mind.
I'll hang out.
I'm gonna assume you guys just wait around for the hour.
Can
Yeah,
I
just
because
look around.
he's zoned out, can I like try and sleight of hand some of that stuff?
Don't... No.
Well,
I'm gonna...
he only prepared enough to.
The ingredients.
I'm watching Waters this whole time.
Well, as soon as he goes to grab for it, it's like, you do know that they are divining things, right? They probably
Damn
can
it.
see that. Still.
And
Damn
I'm
it.
gonna see it.
I don't care if you see it.
And I'm gonna stop you from taking it.
Okay.
You guys could just
Yeah,
turn him
sit
into the
around.
Chultan authorities.
We should. We should do
I'm
that.
sure they have a prison or a jail somewhere in Port
Listen.
Nyanzaru.
Keep him in here until we're ready to leave the city.
So, after about an hour, he slowly kind of comes to out of his trance. And he says, I have consulted the guides, and they have shown me a jungle city far to the south, enclosed by cliffs and crawling with snakes, and a black obelisk draped in vines. I wanted more, but I dared not peer any deeper into the vision. It's like, I urge you Your fates seem tied to this place and this obelisk. Find them.
Is
then-
that
and
down
then he-
anywhere near the Akalaka Gorge?
He tells
that
you,
so?
it's like, there was no signposts in my vision to tell me where it was.
If only they were more useful.
He tells you that perhaps someone, if you give this description to somebody along your journey, maybe you will find it, or maybe you will stumble across it in the jungles yourselves.
Oh, it gives us a good direction to go. I don't know if it's to our death or to salvation, but thanks.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So he then thanks you for saving him and escorting him home. He tells you that it's like, I implore now that you leave me. I must rest. Consulting with the guides has left me extremely exhausted.
Guess I'll
I'm
start
gonna be
making my
like,
way
okay,
up.
stay safe.
So you guys step out of the Temple of Savras. Is there anything else you guys wanted to do before heading back and going to sleep?
I'm gonna mention that, like, I hope we pass. What was it called? The Mwahaha place. I want to go
Oh,
there.
that's on the
The what?
other side. That's on the other side
Aw.
of the continent.
Like, we should pass through there. That'll be fun.
Well, we did get a tip of something there of importance. Maybe. We also... Do we want to stop at the market before tomorrow? I don't know how late it's open. We gotta go by there anyway, so we can see if it's closed.
Okay. I mean, I have no business there, but if you'd like to.
So you guys head back to the Red Bazaar. A bunch of market stalls outside of where you were staying. And, there are a few stalls that seem to be still open, at least temporarily. A lot of them are just, like, packing up for the night. Is there anything in particular you were looking for?
I want to see if someone had either rope or fabric.
Or ropey fabric?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do see one, like, you find, like, one stand that sells textiles, sort of simple cloths and silks and stuff like that. Not, like, the nicest silks, but sort of different bolts of fabric for making clothing and that with. She's got, like, a whole bunch of different colors, mostly pastels, but...
Does she have any, like, reds, oranges, or yellows? Like, could be even, like, a pastel yellow or something.
Yep. Yeah, you have no problem finding colors like that. She's got, like, a whole myriad of things there.
I want to buy a decent amount of it. Like, I can't think how much I'd actually need. Probably not very much. Like 10 feet by 2 or something.
Describe to her what you want to do with it and let her figure out the measurements.
Well, I'm just gonna... It's gonna sound stupid. I'm gonna cut it up into strips and tie it to me so my familiar can crawl around and not have to worry about falling off.
So like a dog leash or cat
No.
leash.
No, like a ladder for clothing.
Yeah, so you are able to purchase 10 feet or so of fabric from her for, she offers it to you for she'll have it to you for 2 gold.
I'm just gonna mention that red pandas will have zero problem climbing you with or without that thing, Jez.
Yeah, but now it doesn't dig into my skin. It'd be fine. It's to help it. Either way, it's a costume for the race.
So yeah,
my God.
yeah, you're able to buy like 2 gold worth of fabric off of her.
I'll buy it for 2 gold.
Yeah, it's not quite silk, but it's much like that. It's a very light, but it seems to be fairly durable. You imagine it's probably what a lot of the sort of lower and middle class people in Chult, this is probably what a lot of their clothing is, because it seems very light and billowy and comfortable. You know, in the heat of this place, you don't see a ton of people with, you know, decked out in full leather and stuff like that. Another thing you've also noticed is a huge lack of anyone wearing any kind of armor. You've seen next to no people wearing, especially full suits. You've not seen a single person decked out in full chain or full plate or anything like that. You've seen in some of the mercs, like some of the people protecting the princes, like their bodyguards have had kind of bits and pieces of armor, but they still seem to be clad in, you know, sort of more leathers, but like stuff that would keep cool a lot easier.
Would we have known that we'd stick out and gotten to a more casual-looking outfits?
No, you probably might have seen some people at the docks that...
Like people that you know are adventurers?
Yeah, and people that look like they've, you know, like you might have even seen them like have the armor on and then shed it before getting off their ship, just because of the weight and the heat.
What I mean,
it just seems to be something that people in the city just don't wear. Even the guards are not decked out in armor like they would be in, say, Neverwinter, where like all the guards are in like full chain or full plate and they look very imposing. Here, it's more about keeping cool and not dehydrating and killing yourself trying to wear that shit all day.
You guys want to get see if you can find cooler outfits?
Yeah, you do notice that Pyro's been just like sweating buckets since he got here.
Yeah.
Probably fix that.
Like, there's probably like a little trail of like wet spots on the ground, like everywhere he walks.
I think we might need to get cooler outfits so that you guys don't die tomorrow.
I'm down. I love doing dress up.
So let's look for someone selling clothing, I guess.
Well, your best bet would be to do that
Tomorrow?
Yeah, during
Or
the day.
after.
Like the markets now seem to be mostly like closing up for the night.
Is the race sometime like midday?
It would be earlier in the morning, not quite midday. But you imagine like once the race is over, you'd probably have time, or perhaps the day after that. If you're planning on setting out, you're going to need to go on a supply run anyways. So
Yeah. Okay, then we'll wait until there, I guess.
So there's still a few stalls open. Can I try to find a stall that's selling some nice looking daggers?
So going through the market here, you see, you find a place that is selling curved daggers. Like, almost like, they're like little scimitars, essentially. They don't seem to be, they seem to be more decorative or utilitarian than to be used specifically as weapons. This place doesn't seem to have, they're not selling swords or short swords or anything like that. It seems to be just kind of the knives or like the only real weapon-y type things they're selling, you know, amid some other cutlery.
I wouldn't be able to use this in like a fight.
No, you could use it as a fight. It's still a dagger, but like this is not an armorer so much as it is a souvenir stand more than anything else. Why can't I find what I'm looking for? She wants 5 gold apiece for them. And she ensures you that they're of only the finest Chilton quality.
I incite that to see if I believe her.
Sure. She believes it as far as you can tell.
I'm
She
gonna
tells
pull
you
out
that
one-
Ekeneafa, she, she is who I report to. Like, she would not allow substandard weaponry to be sold in Chult.
Right, I'm gonna pull out one of my black arrow daggers and ask her, can I trade one of these for that? And I'll point at the one of the ornate daggers.
So she's going to do a fucking Antiques Roadshow appraisal check of her own. She seems to be looking the dagger up and down and checking it out. And she kind of points to the little black mark and says, "What is this?"
The mark of the maker, though I'm not sure if these are exactly in if they're being made anymore, so I'd consider it a rarity.
It's like, yes, but whose mark is this? I am unfamiliar with this symbol.
Someone up north. Neverwinter. Never really did get his name, but I figure that the knives are nice enough to keep carrying around.
Give me a deception check.
Lucky it isn't me, because I just worked that shit out.
She kind of looks at it and she says, "It's like, normally I do not deal in trade, but this is a very interesting piece, and I would be honored for you to carry one of my wonderful daggers." And she hands you over one of her curved daggers that she's got there.
I'll take that and we'll stow it away. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. I'm a bit of a collector myself. Nice doing business with you.
Oh god,
Yep.
she is.
Yeah, so you see her find a piece of fabric, and she kind of wraps the dagger that you gave her up in some fabric and places it aside. And she kind of waves as you guys leave.
All right, well I'm done.
You traded what dagger for the
I
first
traded
one?
one of the black arrow daggers. I've got 9 of them. What do I need them for?
Well, you have 9. You had 9.
No,
not
sorry, now I
10.
have 8.
Because they kept getting thrown at her.
Yeah, these are the knives I just pulled out of my fucking body.
Anyways, I'm guessing no one else is going to buy anything or looking for anything.
Nope.
There's not too much left open anyways. Your best bet's to go, if you're looking for something
Yeah.
specific, your best bet's to go during the daytime.
During the day. Yeah. I just needed this before the race. Obviously.
So, it's up to you guys. You guys could go stay at... Why do I always forget the fucking name of it? Kaya's House of
House
Repose. That's not the one I forgot. It's,
Thundering Lizard.
yes, the Thundering Lizard. So, you guys know that the Thundering Lizard is cheaper. Rooms there are cheaper, but,
I'd rather the quiet one.
okay.
I don't know if we're gonna split, but
Well, the price for staying will be 1 gold a head. Or 5 silver over at the Thundering Lizard.
5 silver a head or 5 silver in total.
A head. So it's basically
Okay.
twice as much money to stay at
Yeah.
the quiet place, but you get a much better night's sleep out of it.
I
The
haven't
other
played
other
it.
place is a drunken party. All day,
I
all
haven't
night.
played at a place in a really long time. I might actually go for the
for your-
Thundering Lizard.
You haven't what?
I haven't
Oh, you-
played, I haven't performed in a really long time.
Oh, so you want to go there to play?
Yeah. Have some fun. We've been fucking hopping planes no tomorrow.
Let's go party.
I'll take an early night. I'll sleep here.
Jez has got a race to run.
I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna go to the
Yeah,
Thundering
so
Lizard.
Jez,
Damn.
Jez goes to Kaya's to get a room and good night's sleep.
Is it
Jez,
5 people now?
hmm?
is it 5 people now in our party? Yeah.
Yes, but it's
Yeah.
So
it's
I'll give them the 2 gold for the thundering lizard, and I'll
Oh yeah, we decided
Spend
that
one.
we're grouping our money.
well,
Like
I'm
whatever we're holding, we have, but like Jazz is holding the most of our
Okay.
stuff.
I'm just giving that out of my pocket right now. I'm not using party funds yet for that.
so Jez is going for an early night at the quiet place. They're essentially across from each other. Like Kaya's
Yeah.
is right here. It's like the fancier looking kind of villa almost place. And then the Thundering Lizard I would say it's probably this one here. So
I don't
they're
know.
directly across from each other to the point where like if it gets really loud and raucous, you can kind of hear them from like your window over in Kaya's. You can hear it a little bit. So where
Are
are
you
the
going?
where
going,
Pyro? Well, I'll say Bones is gonna go crash.
I'll go listen to Wacky play. I haven't heard her play in forever.
Yay.
Bones is basically just disappeared. Bones is probably dead in the gutter somewhere. You guys aren't sure, but like, yeah, Bones will be fine. Wherever he/she may be. So, Wacky, I'm assuming you're trying to get yourself some free room and board by playing.
Sure. Why not? If I don't get it, I already have the money to pay for it.
Give me
Play
a
for tips.
yeah, or for tips. Either way, give me a performance check. As you guys go into the Thundering Lizard. It's your first time into this place. You guys have like last night stayed in Kaya's, and it's a party. It's of all the raucous taverns you've been in, like this one, sort of like right up there with it. You see just a whole mixture of people, races that you like. Some races you barely even know. Like there's some of those cat people hanging around. You see dwarves and northern men, lots of Chultans hanging around. Everyone's just drinking, having a raucous good time. Wacky, you, with the permission of the barkeep, you kind of go ask for permission to put on a performance. Bartender's just like, I don't fucking care. Do whatever you want. He's too busy like pouring drinks to really care what you're doing. So you get up on the stage, start playing whatever you play.
Probably the loot.
So you start playing your lute, playing songs from the north, songs that you know. All of the there's a good deal of foreigners in this bar. Like there's quite a few Chultans, but more than half of the clientele are probably people from outside the city, especially from people that have come in from ships up from the north. And they're all singing along with like the songs you're playing. Occasionally throwing the odd coin up on stage as like a tip. Pyro and Lawaj, what are you guys doing? Well, Wacky's draining money from the people in the bar.
Having a good time.
I'll get a drink.
I'm just dancing. I'm just fucking arms in the air, just fucking dancing.
I'm gonna get a drink.
My
I'm
third
gonna
eye,
watch
just
Lawaj
like
go.
freaking people out.
I'm gonna watch the commotion Lawaj is causing, and I'm just gonna drink.
I usually go up to a random person and be like, hey, I got a third eye, you wanna touch it?
So the person kind of like just recoils in horror and kind of falls, spilling their drink when they see it. And you hear like the word cursed kind of start like getting murmured around around the room.
I try to ignore what's happening.
Hell yeah, I am! And then I'm gonna start walking up the walls.
So
I
at this
try
point,
extra
people
hard
are
to
starting
do
to
it.
scream in
can't
terror and that.
I'm gonna finish my drink and leave.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this in a vampire movie before.
Yeah, so above the din of Wacky's playing and the few people are still like drunkenly singing around, you hear a lot of angry murmuring. The word curse, the word demons being thrown around. You hear a handful of chings as like weapons seem to be being drawn, as some of the revelers and like the crowd all seem to be drawing weapons now to they want to get a piece of Louage. Those that haven't like just kind of dropped their drinks and flown in terror out of the place.
Well, I think this is my cue to go.
So Louage is halfway. Louage is halfway up the wall. Pyro, you said you were walking out once the disturbance had started.
Did you literally get kicked out of the rambunctious place?
I'm pretending I don't know her.
So Wacky's just in shock up on stage.
Wanna come join me?
Probably like gathering coins up like with her foot, like kind of trying to like kick him into an easy to grab pile in case she has to make a run for it. Pyro, you kind of like push your way out past the door. A bunch of other people kind of be like they're scrambling past you, kind of pushing their way to like get out even quicker.
I'm not trying very hard. I'm just go. And just like, no.
Like
Your head hung.
as you're kind of making your way out, a half dozen Chultan guards kind of push their way in past you. Ones that were like in and around the market area and heard like kind of the screaming and the cursing. So now, Louage, you're standing up on the wall, and besides the few drunken people, there's now 6 Chultan guards with spears drawn, demanding that you get down and that you are under arrest.
Okay. Okay. You want some pie though? I made it myself.
All your pies are long past rotten, and
Exactly.
so you are keeping rotten pie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, are you still eating the rotten pie?
Oh no.
Okay, so you open your bag, and they look in and just see this, like, maggot-filled mush that's just kind of, like, congealed in the bottom from where, like, half a dozen pies, whatever was left, have kind of all just molded together. You know, there's mold, there's some maggots crawling in and out of them.
That's how you convince people you're a good person.
So, you are violently grabbed by two of the guards.
Hey, we can work this out. What's your price? What's your price?
5 gold,
what do you
I
want?
took you. 5 gold, you
What do you
touch
want?
me.
So,
Money?
as you're scrambling, trying to keep your feet, you're hauled down by 2 of the guards, and then you find a face full of spears from the other 4. And, like, sort of the lead guard, it's like, no more talk from you. And he kind of, like, whacks at, like, the side of your head with, like, the butt of his spear, trying to knock you out. I guess I should actually roll for that. Well, I've got D20 somewhere.
I just wanted to play music, man. I'm not part of this.
So, the hit seems to be kind of ineffective. It was more of like a warning shot, I guess, more than anything else. Yeah, Wacky, like you see at your feet a variety of gold, silver, and copper. You've made probably about 24 gold worth of, you know, like maybe like 10 gold and some silver, some copper. It's about 24 gold worth of monies just kind of scattered at your feet.
Lovely.
From your playing.
Do that more often.
So, what would you like to do?
Nothing. Can I, like, get off the stage and just watch this unfold?
Sure. There's not very many of you left. There's not very many of you left in the tavern at this point.
I'm just standing outside the door now. I'm just.
There's not many people left, in which case I'm gonna.
Like, are they
make my
killing
way out
him?
then.
Or...
So, you know, the guards kind of haul you back up to your feet, Louage, after they bind your hands, and they tell you that you're under arrest. It's like, we will take you to Fort. The fuck did it go? We'll take you to Fort Bellurian. And you basically don't even really have to walk, as you kind of feel like all your weight has been like pulled off the ground by these couple big burly, somewhat clothed soldiers. They're not like half naked, but I mean they're not particularly well armored because it's warm. Even in the evening time, Chult is warm. It's very warm.
Yeah, this is great. I don't have to walk. I'm gonna carry. You want to get a place to sleep? It's gonna be great.
place to sleep for no money.
For a little while.
You want to come along, Karan? What about you? What about you, Pyro? You want to come?
I begin looking around as if I don't know who he's talking about.
You, the bar, the one ticket, you.
As you're like kind of like picking up your money, the bartender's like, do you know that creature?
No. I think she's a bit crazy.
Give me a deception check. He just kind of like shakes his head and he tells you, it's like I swear this port is getting stranger and more dangerous by the day.
Just give him a shrug.
It's like, do me a favor. If there's any of my clientele still outside, could you tell them that it's safe to come back in now? As they kind of lead, as they drag Lawage outside and up the street, out of the ward. As I try to remember, it was like the. Actually, they'll take you. Said they're gonna take you to Fort Nyanzaru. It's kind of like Port Nyanzaru. Actually, no, they wouldn't. They would take you till Bellurian, because you're very clearly a foreigner. Where the hell is the fort? I can't remember where the fort is. They'll take you to Fort Nyanzaru instead. Fuck it. So, you get taken, Lodge, all the way around town to this large fort that is attached to the big chain that goes across the bay to kind of lock the ships up. Once there, you are stripped of your belongings. So they take your weapons, take your bag. Like, one of them's... The one guard who takes your bag is kind of holding it at arm's length because, like, the stench of it is just repulsive. Like, you can smell the rotten pies through, the outside of it. And you are tossed into an old, damp-looking cell. And there you are, locked up. And that is the last anyone sees of you for the rest of the night. So, Wacky, Pyro, what are you guys doing? Jez has gone to sleep. He's having himself a nice, comfortable evening over at Kai's House of Repose.
Fabric up.
Has Wacky come out and told everyone, no, it's safe to come back in?
I'll do that.
Well, Pyro, you would have also
Yes.
seen the guards dragging Lawage out of there and away from the market. Like, they would have basically walked right by you.
Do I want to follow them?
I'm going to sleep.
So basically, there's two ways.
I want to follow. This will be like, he can have his fun in prison. Like, I feel like he's kind of wanted to go there for a while now.
I'm going the fuck to sleep. Like, that was not my responsibility. I don't care what happens to our rogue.
I'm just gonna be like, yep, alright. Bedtime. We'll find him in the morning.
You'll find him in the morning. I just wanted to play.
So,
Yeah, we're both going back to the...
you guys are going to Kaya's House of Repose instead, the place where Jez slept?
No, I'll stay at the Thundering Lizard since I
Yep.
already committed.
Sure.
I'll
So-
go to Kai's.
5 silver to.
Guys, you keep getting cut off.
Oh,
And your voice is, like, all low sounding for some reason.
the 5 silver from Lawage. Your
Gosh.
room.
Jez, I think your computer's dying.
Probably.
So, a few hours, in the middle of the night, a few hours after you're thrown into the cell, you hear sort of some whispering, and you hear, being a rogue, you hear the distinctive sound of gold going, like, exchanging hands. That very distinctive sound of somebody giving somebody some money. And the cell door opens, and 3 men step inside. Looking up, it seems to be the same 3 men that were accosting the old man outside his temple. The one in the lead just kind of like kneels down, and he says, "Now, you see, I tried to warn you, but Port Nyanzaru is a very dangerous place.
That's not bad.
It's very easy to find yourself in all kinds of trouble."
This is trouble? This is fun. This is great. I have to freak out some people, climb on some walls, got dragged away from guards. I made that one guard over there, he puked because he saw my pies. Did you see that?
So he just kind of like turns to like his 2 compatriots and says, "Maybe we need to make things a little clearer." And one of them goes over and swings back and strikes you in the face with a small club as hard as he can for a 19 versus AC.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to take 5 points of bludgeoning damage, and it is time to roll initiative. Just Lawage and the duders.
I don't know what I'm going to do without any of my equipment, but okay.
You can fight unarmed.
Alright.
Except he can't because he has a -1 to strength.
Didn't say that he could do it well. I just said that he could do it. So the boss gets that. The goons get that. So the boss is going to get a 15. The goons are going to get a 12. So, Lawage, it is your turn. You have the 2 goons are basically just standing. They're both standing right directly in front of you. One of them's probably kind of got you by like the scruff a little bit, not anything you can't slip out of. The boss guy, the guy that's been doing all the talking, he's kind of 5 feet or so behind them towards the back end of the cell. The cell is closed as well. Like they closed the door behind them when like they came in, so you wouldn't like slip by them, get out. The cell is probably about 20 feet by 20 feet. It's a decent sized cell.
Can I see like what weapons they have on them? Do they have them out?
The 2 guys are brandishing small clubs, small one-handed clubs. They don't seem to have anything else on them that you can notice. The boss guy isn't he doesn't seem to be carrying anything openly that you can see. So he may not have anything on him. He may have something hidden somewhere, like a dagger in like his tucked in his clothing or in his boot or something like that. But he's not carrying openly carrying a sword or anything crazy like that.
Okay, well, I'll try and get out of the dude's grab.
Well, yeah, you don't. It's not so much enough that you have to escape from it. It's just he's kind of just grabbed hold of your collar and it's nothing. It's more flavor than anything else.
Am I sitting in the middle of the room, or am I up against the wall?
You're towards the wall. I'll say there's about 5 feet of space between your back and the wall.
I'm gonna get out from him. I'm immediately gonna spin around, and I'm gonna run at the wall.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're using a disengage.
Yep.
As your cutting action. Okay, the room is only about 10 feet high. So I'm guessing you're just kind of trying to get yourself up into the corner.
I'm gonna basically I'm gonna run at the wall, and I'm gonna get to the ceiling. I'm gonna go like Spider-Man, and I'm gonna
try and go flat
along the wall.
So the 2 guys are kind of taken aback at this. They're like, "Oh, whoa, the hell? Sir, what is she?" And boss is gonna be like, just fucking get her. Just go. You're big, strong men. Do big, strong men things. So, one of them's going to go over. Like, the boss is just going to... He's not going to do it. He's just barking orders. He's going to send the goons over. One of them's going to grab one of your legs. The other one's going to try to grab your other leg. So they're both going to make grapple attempts at you. One of them's going to make an 18.
Yeah, that's going to hit me.
While you're I need you to oppose these with your acrobatics.
Okay.
Acrobatics or
Acrobatics or athletics. You're not going to take athletics, because why would you? So he grabs a leg. The other one is going to make... That is a 17. So give me another one. As you kick furiously to try and get your legs free. So he makes it. Because it's not a saving throw. It's a... Basically, your AC becomes 17 for this attack. So he's going to just barely get a hold of you as you're slipping your leg around. And the two of them together are going to just rip you off the floor and throw you down. You're going to take 10 points of bludgeoning damage as they basically just haul you off the ceiling. Or not off the ceiling, but off like the corner of the top of the wall. Just like peel you off and just throw you to the ground. So now you've got... Basically, all three of them are surrounding you as you're just kind of lying on the ground in the middle of them. And it is your turn.
So I'm just sitting on the ground?
You're lying prone on the ground between all three of them, like the dead center of the room now.
There's almost nothing I can do. Hold on. Well, first I'm gonna stand up. That seems like the logical thing to do when you're lying on the ground and there's three giant men around you and you're a tiny girl. Is the door shut, right?
Yep.
How far away am I from the door?
10 feet.
So can I get up, cunning action, disengage, and, like, bolt out the door?
Well, no, door's, like, closed, and you would imagine it was locked. It sounded like when they closed the door behind them, that they locked themselves in with you.
Fucking... God damn it.
So the one in charge is like, look, doesn't have to go this way. We don't need to make an example out of you.
What do you want? You just kind of started beating me up.
Well, the first thing we would like is a little bit of respect. The second thing we would like is information. We want to know where Artis Cimber is. We have friends who very much would like to find him.
Do I know who this is?
That is the person that Romalia Haventree asked you guys to find. The ex-Harper who ran off with a powerful ring and is hiding out Schultz somewhere.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I know he's somewhere in this city. He's got some magical ring that basically allows you not be able to find it with magic. That's all I know. Some woman told us to find her, find him, whatever. That's all I know.
It's like, so you were sent to find Artis. So here's what you're going to do. Whichever this person that you were working for, you now work for me. You are going to find Artis Cimber and deliver him to me. If you do not, my friends and I will find you, and we will end your pathetic little life.
Got it. Good. Understood. Got it, boss. Got it, boss, man. Anything else you need? Coffee, drink, something? I got you.
So he tells you that, like, I, myself and my associates will be in touch. Do not try anything funny. We will be watching you. And
understood.
he just kind of like snaps his fingers. and the goons kind of like push their way past you, just like violently, just kind of shove you aside as they like make their way past. And he kind of like knocks on the bars a couple of times, and one of the guards come, unlock the cell door, and let them out, and then locks it again, and they're gone. And you're left kind of beaten up and bruised to enjoy the rest of your lovely evening in jail.
That could have gone better.
Probably sleeping very well right now.
Yeah, the rest of you are probably sound asleep, very much enjoying your evening. So, the morning comes. Jez, I'll say you find a note kind of under your door. When you wake up in the morning, it is sort of a very official looking note from the guard offices of Port Nyanzaru. It says that your friend has been incarcerated in Fort Nyanzaru in the Harbor Ward, and that you are free to come and get them at your leisure. You guys will just have to pay his fine, and then he'll be free to go.
We'll have to.
What do you
I
say?
fully expect you guys just to not pay for me because apparently you all hate me.
Well, locked up in jail.
Like I said,
Guys,
I
you
don't
keep
expect you to
cutting
pay
out.
for me.
Yeah, like you sound really weird. That time we saw your mouth move, and we didn't hear anything.
So Jez, unsure of what to do, goes and hands the letter over, like knocks on Pyro's door and hands the letter to Pyro, and then goes down to get breakfast and prepare for his race. So Pyro, you've received a letter saying that your friend Loage is in jail.
Does it say how much the fine is?
It does not.
Like I knew he was in jail. We knew that.
You received this. You're not at all surprised by it.
I'm gonna go. I'm like Wacky found where he is. Oh
There's
wait,
no
Wacky's
point
in
in
the
telling
other
Wacky,
cavern.
he doesn't care.
I'm in the other place right now.
I'm just gonna be like, well, okay. Guess we'll go get him at some point. When's the race?
You've got a few hours before the race. The race is going to be early afternoon before midday, but right now it's probably it's dawn, a little after dawn, so you've probably got a good 3 or 4 hours before the race starts. Plenty of time to go and sort yourself out.
I'm
You were
ask
gonna try to
Jess.
make outfits?
Yeah, we have to do that too.
Whoa, that was after. So bad.
Sound so weird, man.
Yeah.
He
Sounds
just unplugged
deeper.
his.
You sound like you're just trying to make Striker impersonations the entire time. It's basically what it sounds like.
So
Alright, well, I go through my morning ritual, and I guess I'll go meet up with Cass and Jafar,
Okay.
not knowing what else to do.
I'm sure Pyro immediately, like the second you see him, like shows you big letters, like, look, Loage's in jail.
much to the surprise of everyone.
I'm shocked. I say it in that exact tone. Anyway, what were we... Aside from this, was there anything we needed to get out of the way?
After the race. If that's after the race, then we'll do that later.
Annoying me, kitty.
I'm gonna be like, Jez, do you wanna come help me get him out of jail?
No.
No. Alright.
Jess is gonna come as the bank. So you guys wander over to the fort. It's not too far. It's a short walk. You guys kind of cut through, over and through, and before long, you're able to find the fort. You get there, and there's like a little clerical office at the front of it, and person at the desk is like, "Yes, what is your business?"
I'm like, we got this letter. We're here for our friend. Well, I don't know if we call
I'm
him
gonna wait
friend,
outside.
but we're here for the person named Vidania.
He's like, and he starts like flipping through like a record book, and he's like, "Yes, disturbing the peace, inciting a riot."
That was not a riot.
Sounds accurate.
So the prisoner's fine will be 50 gold. If you are not willing or unable to pay the 50 gold, they will be left here until you can find such funds. We do not take installments. He sort of like starts reciting all this to you in like the bored monotone of somebody that just repeats the same thing over and over again their entire day.
What Jez said.
If we let you punch him, can the fine go down?
He's like, "No, sir, I have no wish to imbue violence upon your friend."
Again, friend is a strong word.
Spend 5 minutes and you will.
Yeah. Really right. I guess we can pay that.
Okay. So you hand over 50 gold. He's like, "Thank you very much. One moment." So he just kind of like goes over to one of the guards, sort of like whispers something to him. A few minutes later, a guard kind of comes out, kind of dragging Lawage. The guard's basically got like one hand under Lawage's like armpit. He's like dragging him out to the lot of you. He seems to probably be in a probably seems to be in a pretty good mood, all things considered. You notice like a black eye and what looks like some bruising and like swelling in the face, looking like she may have gotten into a bit of a fight while she was in there. But
Karan assumes that the guards just beat her up as they were like dragging her to the place.
We're like, "So, did you have fun? Did you drop the soap?"
No, I didn't. Here we go.
So,
How much was it? Just let me know.
So they can tell you it was 50 gold.
I'll give them the 50 gold I have.
Yeah.
Can we leave now?
So the guy, like the clerical person, goes over and unlocks like a drawer. There seems to be like this big cabinet full of like sort of like large filing drawers. He unlocks like, fourth one down, opens it up. Says, "In here you'll find all your belongings. Please try to enjoy your stay in Port Nyanzaru a little better." And then he just kind of goes back and slumps back down behind his desk, flipping through his notes and through his book.
But I guess
So,
Lodge, get
yeah.
your stuff and we'll go.
yeah, inside the drawer you find all your belongings. Everything seems to be there, including like your rotten pies. Like just opening the drawer kind of fills the room with this kind of rotten
I
stench.
take the bag and I throw it away. Goodbye.
You throw the bag away, or you throw
The bag of pies. Or all the pies were in it. I want to get rid of them.
Do you want to? So, your best bet's to do that like after you leave.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean that.
Okay.
Right now.
So, yeah. So you guys get outside. You manage to like dump out the pies, kind of in like in an alley as you're making your way back to. Wherever you need to go. If you ask Jez nicely, you could probably get him to cast like prestidigitation to like clean it all up for you, so it doesn't stink like pie anymore. So now that you guys have gotten your Lawage back, you can make your way north to where the races are going to be held. So, yeah, Jez cast prestidigitation on Lawage's bag to make the smell go away. Probably less of a
Favor for him.
yeah, less of a favor to Lawage and more of just like you guys don't really want to keep smelling that constantly.
Ecstatic.
So,
Alright, well, you guys lead the way. You know more about this dinosaur race than I do.
So, you guys make your way to the north, and you head to a spot outside the northern. I gotta stop calling it that. The Western Merchants Ward. And as you get there, you kind of have to push yourself past like large crowds to get there. And once you do, you find a myriad of dinosaurs painted all kinds of colors that all seem to be kind of bunched together in this one grouped area. You guys get there, kind of wander around. You see your dinosaur on the nose. On the nose is kind of sitting at the back of the pack. Everyone's kind of lined up. Actually, it's probably going to be more like here. Everyone's kind of lined up outside this arched bridge. This arch is about 30 feet high or so, and this seems to be the starting line of the race. And all the dinosaurs are kind of lined up in their like pole positions. You guys are in the back section of the pack. There seems to be, I was writing all these out. 2, 4. There seems to be 9 other dinosaurs besides you. 8 other dinosaurs besides you in this race. But as you approach, Rada, the person who bred Carl, as he used to be known, he just kind of waves you over. He's like, "Oh, you're here, great." So we have a little over an hour or so before the race starts. So if you've got any last minute preparations you need to make, now's the time to do it.
I mean, I got something to do, but more for just as they're about to start.
What's that?
I'm gonna give Jez Bardic Inspiration, or at least I want to.
Will the Bardic Inspiration fix his mic?
I sure hope so, but probably not.
So, yeah, so you can spend some time doing any last minute decorating or bonding with your dinosaur if you want to. You see, this is the first time you get a chance to kind of look at the other, people you're going to be racing against. You see, front of the pack are another Triceratops and a Tyrannosaurus. The Tyrannosaurus seems to be the most popular, seems to have the most people kind of crowded around it, like sort of oohing and awing over it. You mean it's Triceratops in your book, Jez?
Is it in the Volo's Guide?
No. I don't think it is. One way to find out. Triceratops would be under D for dinosaur. Dinosaur. Brontosaurus. Like, are you trying to get... okay, give me... Because I think technically Triceratops are in the real monster manual. Give me a nature check. So, you're not entirely sure what the dinosaur likes to eat. Rada can tell you that he's like, yeah, no, that's fine, I think. Probably. He's not 100% sure himself, but he's like, yeah, they eat fruit. I've seen it eat fruit before. So he seems confident enough that it'll be fine. Oh, good. Now I just have to flip past the 75,000 pages of dragons.
Should the rest of us go place bets? Asking Pyro and Waj.
I don't remember if betting was a thing on this.
Oh, definitely is a thing. Yes, you
I'm
were.
not a gambling man, so go ahead if you want to.
I'm just gonna grunt and say no.
Prison has changed Lodge. He's been on the inside now.
I'll pass then. I probably wouldn't.
Okay. I just kind of hungrily. Why are you are you trying to flip your headphone things? I don't get it.
Oh, he's holding reins.
No.
Oh, it's...
Or he's trying to show us that he unplugged his mic.
No. It's playing with because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not bored, but Italy.
Make up your damn mind, cat. God damn it. Okay, so yeah, it just kind of wolfs it down when you put out your hand, and it just kind of just slurps it up. It almost takes your hand with it, but you kind of pull back just enough for it not to eat your hand as well. It seems to enjoy it. So yeah, the when you mentioned betting, goddamn pencil, right up kind of points you to, because you guys are near the big market here, and he's like, yeah, some of the stands, in over there, part of the market, they handle a lot of the betting on race day. So if you want to put money down on the race, that's where you do it. Says the only rule is that racers themselves are forbidden from putting money down. Friends and associates, sure, whatever.
I'll go over there and assuming that Cass is giving me the party funds just for the time being.
So you guys, you walk over there. I don't know if anyone else is accompanying you or not, but when you get over there, you see a big crowd in front of a stand. There's a couple of guys. They're in front of what essentially is a big chalkboard with a grid on it. It's got various odds and whatnot written on it, and they're just kind of running back and forth, exchanging slips of paper or slips of parchment for money. So you imagine that these are the bookies.
User disconnected from your channel.
I'm gonna put down 150 on the nose then.
Yeah. So yeah,
Our racer is gone.
Yeah, no, he said he's trying to restart his computer to fix his mic. So yeah, he tells you that he's on the nose. It's the latecomer. It's odds are 8-1. It is a very risky bet. No one knows anything about it. He kind of looks at you. He's like, "Are you sure you want to throw all your money away on this dinosaur?"
Well, it's not all our money.
Well, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know if it's all your money or not.
Why not? Give it a chance.
User joined your channel.
I'm a believer of Time War myself. Maybe Lady Luck will be on our side.
Now I'm gonna do a mic check.
You're good.
can
Oh my
hear
god, he's
him.
back.
It's
Apparently, I needed to
just-
restart.
Probably. Okay, so he hands you a betting slip, You have 8-1 odds on the nose. So he tells you that, like, yep, if you're, like, he tells you if on the nose places in the top 3 to return here, and collect your money.
Alright, sounds good.
So, you wander back. You find Jez bonding with his Triceratops. As you kind of make it back, you hear a familiar voice kind of call out and says, "Ah, there you are! I'm looking all over for you."
Is it Volo?
Yes,
Volo.
pushing through the crowd is your old friend Volo. He's like, you did it. Like, our plan worked. You managed to get yourselves into the dinosaur race. It's like I told you, I'm full of excellent ideas. My plans always work.
Part 1 was the easy part.
So he's kind of like leans in and he's like, so it's like we can discuss my cut after, but what do you think your chances of winning are? Good, right? This looks like a fast dinosaur.
Well, they told me it was 8-1, so 8 times the normal.
He just kind of like looks at you and then like looks at the dinosaur and then looks at like the other dinosaurs. He's like, well, you have spirit. I'll give you that.
Also,
like,
taking
look, the dinosaur has
very
flames on his
literally
feet.
and wrongly. Yeah, that'll make it go faster.
It's like, yes, very realistic. I half thought the dinosaur was on fire when I walked over here. Well, I shall be watching and cheering you on from the stands. It's like, I need to find some ale. And he just kind of like wanders off like towards like one of the people like selling drinks. So, after you spend a bit more time, you see up on the top of the archway here, someone seems to be standing up on kind of a bit of a soapbox, and it looks like they're talking into, like they're waving their arm around, like looks like they're trying to get like the crowds to kind of be quiet a bit. And he's got like this big horn-looking thing. It's like a big golden horn that he seems to be speaking into to try and amplify his voice. And he says, "Welcome, one and all, to the dinosaur race. Today's race will be the ever-popular Unchained variety. Any dinosaur, any rider, anything goes." And this is met with like just a huge din and applause from the crowd. People are like hooting and hollering. And it's like, now we will introduce today's racers. First, in the first position, the popular Tyrannosaurus Big Honker.
I'm gonna start screaming.
So while this is going on, can I just go ahead and give Jez Bardic Inspiration now?
Okay, sure. Jez, you have Bardic Inspiration.
You got this.
I got the first roll.
So he's like, next, in the second position, looking to win his 4th race in a row, Oobtao's favorite. And he begins to like go on all the way through the crowd, or through the various racers. He's like, next, the Hadrosaurus Banana Candy.
And a candy.
And he introduces Bone Cruncher, the Allosaurus. And you see him point to like an Ankylosaurus, just this big like armored looking thing with what looks like a mace for a tail. And he's like, and this Grung Stomper. He's like, and now participating in his very last race, we have Scarback. And that's met with like a almost as loud of an applause as Big Honker. Scarback seems to have been an old crowd favorite from, back in the day. We also have Nasty Boy.
I'm gonna start screaming again.
And you see You see like an Allosaurus, and like with a very serious looking like male racer on it, with basically all of his face is concealed by like a veil and a partial mask. So it's like everything but his eyes are covered. He seems to be just kind of like glowering at the crowd. It's like, next! And he points to this like sort of this smaller feather looking thing with like big claws on its feet, like big single claws on its feet. He said, "This is Jungle Princess." And finally, the newcomer. In its very first race here in Cholt, we have On the Nose. And you get like a few, some of the crowd are just kind of like applauding, and you get like a couple cheers from, you hear like one like person sort of off in the distance, like woo, like cheering like really loudly. You think that might be Volo, you're not sure.
I hear a couple coughs.
Yeah. It's like, racers, we shall go over the rules. Remember, attacking other racers is frowned upon, but this is an unchained race, so technically anything goes. You will be racing around the merchant wards, down through the harbor, back around, looping under the archway in the middle between the temples and the palace, until eventually you come all the way back. First one through this archway a second time is the big winner. Deviating off of the marked course is disqualification. Are all of you ready? And at this point now, like, lots of, like, Cholton guards are kind of, like, they kind of usher, like, the rest of you, like, off the course. And they're kind of just, like, ushering, like, all the crowd, like, away from all the dinosaurs and sort of as far off to the sides as possible. One of them kind of tells you, it's like, if you want to, like, let you guys know if you really want, like, a good view, if you kind of just sprint ahead right now, you guys could get up to the bridge that leads to Golden Throne, and from there you'd be able to see like a good portion of the race.
I'm gonna do that.
Do that.
Okay, so the three of you, Bones seems to have stayed behind at Kaya's House of Repose with stomach problems. Ate too many starfruit and is now just puking all day.
And he was so excited about the races.
Yep.
It was the heat.
Yeah, it was the heat. Just suffering from like horrible heat exhaustion. So, yeah, you guys start like making your way over, and the race, like, the guy sort of motions to this other person. He looks older, and looks fairly well dressed. Looks like as well dressed and sort of regal as the merchant prince Ifan, who you met the other day, but it's a person you don't recognize. You think maybe this could be one of the other merchant princes. He's kind of offered the stage by the guy with the megaphone, and the megaphone guy starts a countdown, and as it reaches 0, the prince perhaps sort of like fires just this big colorful blast of like, it basically casts color spray into the air, and this stream of fireworks shoots out of his hand. And that is the signal to go. So, how this is going to work is, Jez, you are going to be rolling animal handling checks to race with the other dinosaurs. The goal is to reach a score of 300 before one of the other...
Real good.
Oh, wow. That's at best gonna take
A while.
Well, so your Triceratops' speed is 50. So every time you succeed in making your animal handling check, your Triceratops will go 50, and you're trying to get to 300. You have the option to whip your dinosaur if you would like to. Whipping him, whipping him along to get him to go faster, will give you advantage on the animal handling check. But if you, every time you whip him, that turn, he has to make a Constitution saving throw. And if you're... And I'll get you to roll the Constitution saving throw, so it seems only fair. If your dinosaur fails the con saving throw, There's only it's a DC 10 Constitution check. If you fail that check, your speed will be halved for the rest of the race. So there's a huge upside to whipping them and a huge downside.
Even huger if you're on certain dinosaurs.
So, yeah. If you whip him, your speed will increase to 75. So you'll go 75 instead of 50. Your dinosaur's constitution is 15, so you'll get a +2 to those con checks. Those are a DC of 10. Your skill check DC for your animal handling is 14.
That means 75% of the time I'm not going to make it.
Oh boy.
Do you not have any bonus to animal handling whatsoever?
I have a bonus. -1.
Wow, you were the
I don't know if
best.
I call it a
You were the
bonus.
best choice to ride this thing.
Hey, it might have worked better if I could talk to him.
To be fair,
Just saying.
It might have worked better if your
Massive
druid
fucking
was still
older one, you
alive.
would've wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just grind it in there. You could probably even check to see if he had skills in animal handling, just to rub it in more.
Yeah, you would have almost been better off having Wacky ride the thing.
Yeah.
With Jack of all trades, it's at least like a +1 or +2. So that is what you're going to be up against. The other dinosaurs are going to be going after you too. If you are in close proximity to another dinosaur, so if you're neck and neck with another one, you can attempt to attack it. So I don't remember where it went. Where did it go? I don't. Just listed when erasers tally, creek seeds, blah blah blah. Ah, there it is. Dinosaurs can attack each other, or dinosaurs if their tallies within 50 of each other at the end of a round. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that doesn't count against your rolling to see if you go faster, which wouldn't make any sense. But if you wanted to, you could try to attack other dinosaurs. You are a Triceratops, so you would be rolling a +5 to attack. And you'd be doing 1d10 plus 1 damage. Your Triceratops has 38 HP. I'm just going to write these things into the chat so we know. So your dino has 38 HP, has a +5 to hit, and does 1d10 plus 1 on attack. If your HP drops below 50%, you have to start making your animal handling checks with disadvantage. So that is sort of the appeal to attacking and being attacked by other dinosaurs, is like all of a sudden now the other dinosaurs are at disadvantage. See, I was going to write all of them out nicely in my notes so I could keep track of it. Then I got distracted when my friggin' Chrome crashed before we started. Nasty, jungle, and on the nose. So I can keep track of everybody else as I get out a whole bunch of D20s. So, the race begins. Jez, animal handling check as everyone flies out of the gates.
Nice.
That's better.
Like you dig your heels into on the nose, and he kind of just like lazily kind of hops forward and starts going. You're like already at kind of the back of the pack, and you seem to be staying there. Big honker. So of the other dinosaurs, so far only 2 of them seem to be pulling ahead. Ooptow's favorite seems to be starting to pull ahead to an early lead, and the Nasty Boy, yeah, and so Ooptow's favorite and Nasty Boy are pulling ahead. The rest of you, Jez, you are with like the rest of the dinosaurs in just a big pack. You're kind of towards the back side of that pack as you all kind of start storming out of the gates and starting to like rampage through the town. The dinosaurs continue to push on Jez. Give me another animal handling check.
Oh.
There you go.
That's better.
So, on the nose, starts to kind of take off a bit. You begin passing a couple of the slower dinosaurs. Big honker. You know what? I'm going to put their speeds here first. I'm going to take a sec to just... This cross-reference across these charts is a bit of a pain in the ass. Hooptail's favorite is another Triceratops, so he gets 50.
Oh, if you told me the stats before, I could have probably created a Excel sheet for you to make it easier.
Well, keeping track of this is easy. It's just so that I don't have to... This way I don't have to keep looking up what each dinosaur is. Banana Candy's a Hadro. Bone Cruncher's an Allo, which is 50. Grung was the Ankylosaurus, which is not super... Oh, Ankylosaurus is not even... He's an other. Scarback was T-Rex. He's 50. Nasty's an Allo. Dionysius for Jungle Princess.
I wanted one of those, to be honest.
I just saw it. That's a 40. And on the nose is a 50. I don't really need to remember that one. So you charge ahead. You catch up to Nasty Boy. You're kind of like, you're starting to go up with the rest of the pack. Nobody really seems to be pulling any further ahead. Ooptail's favorite is still kind of leading the charge, but like,
Not by much.
you managed to pass by Jungle Princess, Scarback, and Banana Candy. So you're starting to kind of make your way through. So the rest of you guys are up on the bridge. Like you managed to kind of get up there. A lot of the crowd is kind of like, a lot of the crowd hasn't really made its way up there yet. You see a lot of people hanging around various other points, and there's like lots of people down here kind of watching from street level. You're all kind of standing at the bridge, like watching. You can see this big herd of dinosaurs charging forward in the distance, kicking up this big cloud of like dust behind them. And suddenly behind you, you hear a voice call out, "So, you are the ones that are causing trouble in this town, are you?"
This is behind the three of us.
Yep.
Oh.
And you look
I don't
and
think
you
I would
see
do it.
four gentlemen standing behind you. Actually, three gentlemen and a lady standing behind you. They're all dressed in kind of like dark leathers. Closer inspection, you see each of them sort of has various kind of snake-like appearances. Like one of the gentlemen like has like slits for eyes, and you see like the lady's, she's got like her left arm and that is kind of all scaly, kind of like snake skin. And they seem to be, they're just kind of like standing there, you know, spaced apart on the bridge, threateningly. They don't look like they're dressed like the same people that accosted Lawage. Like Lawage, these don't look like, you don't think they're from the same group that beat you up in jail. Like you guys don't really recognize these as the same as those possible Zentarum that were threatening the old man.
I'm still gonna like back up and be like act afraid because I am afraid.
I'm gonna be like, who are you?
Looking at them like they just ruined my day.
So,
Like, I don't know.
like, we
what
understand
this
that
is.
you've been asking a lot of questions in town.
Yeah, because we're new and we don't know this place. That's what people do.
We have been asked to quieten you down a little bit, we shall say. And you see him sort of like draw a scimitar and kind of point at the three of you and then the other 3 start to draw weapons and move in. As Jez, time for you to make another animal handling check.
Oh.
Before, obviously I know what it is. I'm gonna roll my inspiration. What is
Okay.
it?
1d8.
I got a 50-50 chance of this fucking me over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, there you
and
go.
on the nose, surges ahead. You push ahead. You are now neck and neck with Nasty Boy as Scarback starts to catch up. Banana Candy's now in this race. Jungle Princess and Grung Stomper, they're just in the dust. Like, the whole pack seems to be leaving those 2 behind. But you kind of pull ahead, and you're now, like, not quite neck and neck, but you're starting to catch up to Nasty Boy. Like, you're, like, nose to tail. He's kind of, like, pushing, like, to the sides and trying to, like, steer you off towards various stalls and that. And the 3 of you up on the bridge, I need you to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
I'm just surprised. I've made 2 so far.
Oh, 16 initiative. That's high for me.
Oh my god, you rolled higher than the 2 of us.
Next. The
Where
real
on-
danger noodles.
This is where I have 3 different sources of duders. Where am I going to find exactly what I'm looking for here?
You could try looking in Volo's Guide. Monster Manual thingy, whatever it is that Jez just bought.
I think there are some
This is
snakes
what I'm
in
looking
there.
for.
I'm not sure if it's the ones he's looking for, though.
Nope, I got what I'm looking for. They got a dex of that. They are going to get a 12.
Look at that. 16, 14, 12. Yeah.
Yep, that's very even.
How
Sure.
far away are they from us?
They are about 20 feet from you. They're all kind of just standing. Actually, the front 3 are 20 feet. The other guy's 25 feet as they kind of like ran past him. Like the guy who did all the talking. They all seem to be. Yeah, they've all got basically like just like leathers on for the most part. Like they're not like super well armored, but yep, the 3 of them charged you. They're about 20 feet away, brandishing weapons, looking to fight. And the other guy's also got his weapon out, but he's kind of he's the talker, so he makes the other guys go first. Every gang's got a leader. So Pyro, what do you want to do?
Guess I'm just gonna run up to the closest one and smack him.
Yep.
People
That
watching
might-
us.
Not yet. Everyone is kind
Okay.
of like nobody's kind of made their way here yet.
That's
I'll
probably
say
not.
you guys are probably more towards the end of the bridge. All the people are going to be coming from like this way, so you've probably got. You figure you've got probably a good couple of minutes before people start to make their way here. More than enough time for a scuffle.
I made a roll so far. It's
Oh,
11.
yeah, 11's a miss.
That one's a hit, probably.
Yep, 18's a hit. You slash into the first Sneckman, and he's kind of yelps out in pain as you dig your sword in. I've also got to keep track of Sneckman now. Come back, notepad. Come here, Near Automata. Need you as a bookmark. S1, 2, 3, 4. So, you did 12 damage. Okay, perfect. Louage.
I'm gonna quickly look around, see if there's anybody else. Like, hiding, skulking, watching.
Give me a perception check. Yeah. You kind of peer around. You don't seem to see anybody explicitly watching you. You don't see like anybody. You don't see any non-citizens that seem to be paying any attention to you, or any guards or anything. The only people that you can see within eye shot are kind of. They all seem to be sort of transfixed on the race.
Okay, I'm gonna breathe a sigh of relief. And then I'm gonna try and shoot the one that Pyro hit.
Yep. Thwick is an easy shot. You stumble it back. You know, it kind of like takes a step back from that impact of your bow. But he's still alive. Bleeding heavily, but still alive. That want to do anything else, Lawaj?
Not much else I can do. Is there any place I can like hide? There's like a wall. Anywhere?
Not really. It's basically like flat cement walls all the way. Like, because you guys are fighting in the middle of a bridge.
Then yeah, I'll just like reposition and get ready for into the next shot that's gonna happen.
Okay.
You guys have a bad history fighting on bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have Bones here to cast darkness.
Or Jez there to have like darkness cast upon
Fall
him.
off.
So, Snicks. The one's going to attack Pyro in front of him. One's going to charge Wacky. The other one's going to charge at Lawaj. And the third one that's barking orders is still just... He's just kind of sitting back. Oh my god, cat. You
All
need to
these
stop.
cats.
Goddamn tabaxi. What have you done? Why is my thing going crazy? What have you done? God damn it. So they're all going to make 3 attacks. On Pyro first. 2 misses and a 23, I'm assuming, is a hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
I don't have any D8s. Do I not have any D8s? There's one. So you're going to take 5 piercing damage, which you can reduce. On Lawaj. 2 18s and a 12.
Hit, miss.
Yeah, I figured that. Need some D6s too.
They're shooting at him?
Nope, they just ran up and are clawing at him.
Did they run past me?
Nope, there's enough space between. The bridge is fairly wide. The bridge is probably about like 40 feet wide or so. They're all spaced several feet apart. So you ran up to one, then the other guy ran past, and then another guy also, like, way on the other end of the board, or other bridge, ran past to get at Wacky. Then the third guy seems to be behind. Lawaj, you're going to take all total 10. You're going to take 10 damage.
Yeah.
You are, by the way, like, fully healed from jail. You had enough time.
I figured.
Yeah, because you're an elf, you had enough time to meditate. If you were a non-elf, then no, you wouldn't have had enough time for a good long rest to recover. But you would have had 4 hours in there before they bailed you out. Oh, and 3 attacks on Wacky. A definite miss. 16 and a 20.
Both of those are hits, but I am going to reduce the 16
Okay.
to a definite miss.
Yeah, so just this attack, you're going to take 6. 6 points of slashing from the claws. That is it for the Snack Man. Wacky, it's your turn. So you got one in front of you, there's one in front of Lawaj, one in front of Pyro, and the other one seems to be kind of standing back, barking orders.
How far away is Pyro and Waj, actually? Both of them?
You guys are about, like, 10 feet apart, I'd say.
Are they in my radius?
How big's your radius?
10 feet?
Then no. Well, which radius? Are you talking about your saving throw radius?
Yeah.
No. I would say Lawaj could probably rotate himself to be in it, but Wacky's definitely not.
I have this macro. I'm going to stab at him with my rapier.
15 is definitely a hit.
Then I'm going to stop time.
Oh, wait. I got a thing for that.
Every time.
Oh, what the hell? It moved.
That was really loud this time.
I'm gonna move over to the dude that Pyro is on, in a way that I'm like next to Pyro.
Okay.
Oh, and I guess I get an attack. So if I attack, it's just an auto crit, right?
As
Then
long
I
as you
roll
hit.
the damage dice twice.
Basically, you... Yeah, so you roll an attack, you have advantage on the attack, and if the attack hits, then it's automatically a crit.
It's like they're paralyzed.
Okay. Then I'm going to attack.
Yep, so it's
Going
automatically a
for
crit.
Pyro. Then I need to roll another d8. Yeah, d8. Good.
Nice.
So, Pyro sees you just... Well, I guess you still have... Yeah, if you're not trying to do anything else. Actually, that would have been your move. You still technically have a bonus action, but I doubt you really want to do too much. So, basically, Pyro sees you, like, disappear. Like, you stab at a guy in front of you, and then you just disappear, and you reappear with your rapier plunged into the neck of the guy in front of him. And he just, like, as soon as you reappear with your sword already in the guy just, like, drops dead.
I'm gonna be like, God damn it, again.
You can teleport into people now?
Yeah, it's a warlock thing.
So...
Like, I'm not surprised she's there. I just didn't expect it in front of me all of a sudden.
You're not surprised.
So, Pyro.
How far away is the fourth guy?
So the one guy's he's about like 20 feet from you. There's also one guy that's like within 10 feet or less of you, the one that's attacking Lodge.
Yeah, I guess I can go help Lawaj. I will go over to him. And where's my mouse? There it is. Hit him. Ooh, well.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Kind of.
especially that extra crispy 1 damage. So yeah, you smack the guy. Wasn't expecting it at all. You just kind of run over and crack him upside the head with your sword for a good amount of damage. He's bleeding.
There's that.
I guess this would be the she. So she's bleeding.
That's another 10. And I guess that is it.
Oh dear God. There we go, everything's fine now. I was trying to type. So yeah, your second attack is a hit. And she is definitely still up. She's bleeding pretty good. She's definitely still alive. Tried typing something and I accidentally typed it into Roll20 and made everything disappear.
Don't
It's
kill
fine.
Yari's girlfriend.
So, Lawaj, it would be your turn. Why is that thing?
Disengage, back up from the scaly woman, and I'll shoot her.
Yep. Yeah, seems properly distracted. Yeah, that'll work. So you fire an arrow into the back of her head as she's distracted by Pyro, and she just kind of drops and just kind of slumps like right into like Pyro's. She kind of slumps and like leans her like neck head up against like his like lap.
I'm gonna come in. Like knock her head away. Like, ugh.
Hey, Pyro, be respectful of the dead. I'm
I'm just gonna be left speechless by that. I'm just gonna be like.
And then I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
And that's it.
So the leader is going to point at the group, and he's like, "You stop them!" And the other one's going to charge at, I guess, Lawage, because Lawage would be the closest one to him. And he's going to come flying in, making 3 attacks. Only one of them hit, because one of them's a 22. The rest are like single digits. For 6 damage.
Nice.
6 big sneck damage, as it kind of just like throws itself at you. And the other one, you see him sort of start taking off down the bridge, and he kind of scrambles over the side of it and hops down off the side of the bridge. To where you are not sure. But you see him just kind of take off down the bridge and just whoop over the ledge. And it is now Aki's turn.
Was that the last? Was that the only one left?
Well, no, there's still the one left that's now attacking Lawage. That was the
right.
the talkie. That was the talkie one.
Alright, can I shoot from here without disadvantage?
Yes. The one that was in front of you is dead.
I will do so. Hey!
Ooh, that's a good one.
Big 11.
So,
Yeah, we did the same
19
damage.
total. So you pepper the snake, the snack on Lawage with a whole bunch of eldritch bullshit. And it kind of staggers, but it's still clawing at him. Pyro, it's your turn.
I'm gonna be like, look, man, your boss is gone. He obviously left you to die. You wanna just tell us what the fuck is happening? Or should we just kill you?
He's like,
Because we are
do
very
what you want, I will never talk.
Like, are you sure? You sure you don't want to rethink? You positive you won't
how much
talk?
do you value gold?
Yeah, we could make it worth your while, maybe a little bit, just a tiny bit.
He tells you that I would never betray Raznisi.
Raznisi, gotcha.
Nisi.
And what's he
Wait,
do?
I didn't. Wait,
Villains
no.
are always doing that. Oh, villains.
I'm like, what's his deal?
You guys are fighting me while I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I forgot to go back to the race. Like on the, I was going to go
It's
back to
fine,
the
I had a
race,
couple-
alternating with the turn order, and I got.
I had a couple of things, so you could just throw Dinosaur Race as one of the turn order things, just so you can. keep
Well,
track.
this fight's going to be over pretty quick if Pyro decides to. So the guy
Yeah.
clams up. He doesn't seem to be giving you any more answers. So
Okay, fine.
he seems really bothered by the fact that he said anything at all.
Like, thank you for your time.
That was a hit. He's hanging on by a thread, but he is still alive.
Oops, sorry. Let me just, I'll fix this.
So you just kind of plunge your sword into his throat again. Like, is that better? Like, I think I got all of it this time. You kind of like saw it back and forth, and he just kind of goes limp.
Try to make it a quick death and accidentally hurt you more.
My God.
So you have killed 3 of the snakes, and the 4th one seems to possibly have gotten away.
I am gonna go over to the ledge and see, like, if I can see if he went anywhere.
So yeah, you kind of just run to the ledge that's like right by you, and you see that Sneckman has kind of hopped down to a rooftop. He's basically jumped down onto the roof of one of the nearby buildings and is basically at ground level at this point, and seems to be making an expeditious retreat.
I'm gonna keep an eye on which direction he's going. I'm like, wait until he's like, out of sight and I can't tell where he's going anymore.
So you also notice at this point, the crowd of people, like throngs of people, seem to be making their way this way towards like the underside of the bridge. You see them starting to pour on, like you see them starting to come this way towards this end of the bridge.
Let's walk away from the bodies.
Jez, it's time for you to roll for Dino again.
You're supposed to scream out, "There's been a murder!"
Nobody's seen it yet.
Well, that way you get in front of it.
I'm gonna look at Lavage
Oh,
to see
no.
if he's been
Oh,
like
you mean
digging
there's-
through their stuff yet or not.
So Jez doesn't really get any further with On the Nose. Big Honker starts to catch up. Jez, you can feel Big Honker kind of like nipping at your heels as he starts to catch up. Banana Candy also starting to make strides. Nope, Grung is finally in this race, as is Jungle Princess. And so, Jez, you are still towards the front of the pack as your dinosaurs begin to like turn the corner, and you see like the big tall bridge coming up ahead of you that leads to Golden Throne.
I think you want another one now.
Yep.
I'll redouble my efforts. And oh, it's on the wrong side.
Rest.
So
Should have been whipping.
at this point, Big Honker's gonna start whipping his dino. Oh, that was not useful, Big Honker. Big Honker's going to. Oh, you see Big Honker like he's nipping up behind you, like just kind of like kicks his head back and just kind of screams this like Tyrannosaurus-y scream, and he
Big
starts to
Honker
kind of
ramping.
slow down, and you see him kind of. It sounds like pain, like this pained scream, and his speed starts to just slow down considerably, and he kind of just gets pushed back into the pack behind you. The rest of them,
No.
Oobtao's favorite,
And maybe he'll block off some of the other racers.
The rest of them, you don't go. Grung, Scarback, Nasty Boy begins to pull ahead. He's starting to get like away from you, Jez.
So who's in the lead? Am I like third?
So
or
right
something?
now, you're in like a three-way tie as Jungle Princess is starting to find her second wind and start to catch up a bit too. So right as you make it underneath the bridge past Golden Throne, you are in the lead. Or sorry, no, you are in Nasty Boy has taken off ahead of you in the lead, and you, Big Honker, and Oobtao's favorite are all kind of packed in together, but Big Honker has all of us. He seems to have. You think he's hurt himself or something's happened, but he's kind of like starting to slow down. He's still right there as of like this point right now, but he's quickly fading. So you and Oobtao's favorite, the other Triceratops, are kind of neck and neck at the moment. So
I'm gonna
go ahead,
Yeah.
throw another animal handling.
point at the dinosaur in the lead and say, "Go fetch."
Barely. But, so On the Nose, it's like spurred on by your command. He's like, oh, no, that one. Okay. He starts to charge ahead. Big Honker, now it's at disadvantage. Big Honker begins to fade back. Banana Candy and Bone Cruncher is not doing a whole heck of a lot. Banana Candy starting to catch up to you. Oobtao's favorite is fading behind a bit. Scarback catches up a bit. Nasty Boy does not happen to pull ahead. So you managed to catch back up to Nasty Boy. You were basically like right on his tail. Jungle Princess, meanwhile, is also staying behind. So at this point, you're catching back up, boost with a like burst of speed as you fly in through past like the Merchant's Ward. Like you guys start like pulling in past like all these carts that have been moved. Hopefully they were moved for the start of the race. Like you
I
guys
don't think it
start.
matters for mine.
Yeah, you guys start to surge forward, and all of a sudden, like you see Nasty Boy's an Allosaurus. I can actually turn this page. Oh dear God, that D6 is gone. That
I know
D6 is
Big
gone
Honker was
forever.
an Allosaurus.
Nasty Boy was an Allosaurus. So yeah, Nasty Boy. All of a sudden, you see his tail just sort of like rear back and slap on the nose right across the face.
Slap
Right
on the
on the
nose, on the
nose.
nose.
So he's going to attack you with a 15 versus your AC. Your AC, I forgot to mention, is 13. I'll put that in. So he hits you for... where'd all my D10s go? He's going to hit you for 8 points of damage. So at this point, you can also attack back if you choose to. And you can just race on. Like, at basically before the next round of rolls. Remember? Nah, that D6 is gone. I give up, the D6 is gone.
Too bad there's no point to not attack. 8 of 38.
Well, there is. There's the honor in racing.
Yeah, but I don't think I have any control over my dinosaur.
You think you're just along for the ride?
Yeah.
Well,
And
you
I
can
can't
attack if you
steer
want to. You can totally just blame it on the dinosaur if you want. It's up to you. You can either attack or we can move on to the next.
I won't attack this turn. I'll just go.
Okay.
Next turn, gonna be a different story.
What were you going to ask, Wacky?
No, I just want him to fight.
Oh. I will also say, Wacky, what is the range on your Bardic Inspiration?
60 feet, I believe. Check.
I will say, if you wanted to give Jez Bardic Inspiration as he
Can I do it now?
charges underneath, because they got to the bridge after your fight was sort of done, so you would have the time to, as they kind of go underneath of you, drop him some more inspiration if you felt like it.
I will do that.
Go faster.
Have we been able to search the bodies real quick before the crowd gets here?
You can give him a quick pat down before you leave. You don't seem to see anything of interest on them.
I probably ran to the side of the bridge while you guys were doing that to cheer Jez on. I realized they were passing it.
You and Lawaj kind of pat him down. You find 30 gold amongst the three of them.
We'll hand that to Jez when he's done with the race.
Jazz Pyro throws you a coin purse with 30 gold in it as you're running by. It's like, hang on to this, Jazz, put it in the bag.
What is that, to catch it?
Like,
so you now have Bardic Inspiration from Wacky. You hear Wacky cheering you on as you run by underneath the bridge.
what do we do about the bodies? The crowd's coming.
Well, I will tell you, you don't really see any good place to hide them. You might be able to kind of toss them over the side here, maybe behind these buildings. It's a very short-term solution, as somebody's probably going to see them at some point. Or you can just kind of just book it over to, the finish line, or, book it over to any, a place along the walls here to, watch them come back, the dinosaurs come back around and come in for the finish.
Don't worry, guys. They're snake people. Look at their eyes.
I'm probably
People
gonna
won't
go
know
to
it
the
was
finish.
us. We'll just run into the crowd and no one will know.
That's why I literally said scream out that it's been a murder.
So, Jez, animal handling check.
Oh,
Oh my
at least
god.
it's not the
No.
0.
That's not a very good one. You probably should have whipped your dino that time. So Big Honker just continues to just fall further and further behind. Getting to almost the back of the pack at this point. Ooptow's favorite begins to surge. He catches up to you, Jez. Bone Cruncher also begins to start making up some ground as he passes Big Honker. Grung Stomper. It's really not dumb. Nobody's sure why anyone thought it would be a good idea to put an Ankylosaurus in this race. The thing's really slow looking and it's just kind of lumbering. So it's, nobody really understands why he's in this race. Because maybe they thought he was just going to beat the crap out of everybody. Scarback.
Spikes, though.
No. Nasty Boy does not surge ahead. Jungle Princess does. She's beginning to catch up. So, as you start making your way sort of past part of the ruined part of the ward here towards the south, in sort of the old city or sort of towards where the exit to the old city is. Jez, you, Ubtau's favorite, and Nasty Boy are all kind of in a pack together for the lead, with a few other dinosaurs like Banana Candy and Jungle Princess kind of nipping at your heels. So, go ahead, roll again, Jez.
Oh, I'll roll my inspiration.
Oh,
enough.
God.
Yeah. So on the nose is up to 200. As you begin to surge forward, Big Honker, you kind of look back and sort of past the pack. You see Big Honker basically kind of just veer off the track and kind of just come to a stop, like off on the sidelines. The racer's clearly given up. He's clearly given up, like trying to get Big Honker through. Big Honker is now out of the race. You see Ubtau's favorite. You sort of manage to just get past Ubtau's favorite. It doesn't quite catch up to you. Banana Candy, though, catching up, begins to push past. Now you see Banana Candy and Ubtau's favorite kind of like just button heads back and forth, like just kind of slamming into each other. The Ankylosaurus continues to plod along. He's getting slightly ahead. He is going to finish higher than Big Honker. Big Honker, the favorite to win this race too.
Yeah, right?
Didn't you hear
The odds-on favorite to win is out of the race. Like, who would? It's like fucking NASCAR.
the Ankylosaurus racing the Dinosaur?
Nasty Boy keeps pace with you. Is now right up beside you. Jungle Princess kind of inserts herself into the pack with Banana Candy and Ubtau's favorite. Now the three of them are just kind of jostling each other for position.
That seems dangerous, having that little tiny dinosaur in there.
Nasty Boy, keeping true to his name, just kind of like reaches over and bites the side of your dino's neck for a 12 versus AC. I don't think that's going to hit you, is it?
It's a miss.
Yeah, it's kind of.
God.
You see, like, Nasty Boy just kind of like reach its head over and just snap at On the Nose's neck. And, a couple of teeth graze his skin, but your dinosaur. Luckily, your dinosaur was kind of leaning to the right a little bit, as he tends to do, and managed to just pull away from it.
And with that, I'm gonna course correct it into Nasty Boy for my attack.
Give me an attack. You have +5 to hit. So you just kind of overcorrect and slam On the Nose into the side of Nasty Boy. Give me damage. You have 1d10 + 1.
Only 3.
So you kind of bump into the side of Nasty Boy, who's down. Nasty Boy's an allo.
Bumping tracing.
Yep. So lucky for you, you do know that the Allosauruses seem to be a little bit smaller than their Tyrannosaurus cousins. So it doesn't look like you'll take as much of a kicking as a true Tyrannosaurus would. So, oh, that's why everything went all funny. It got turned into that. Oh, and I'm on the GM layer. Jesus Christ. The rest of the party's like up here watching. Or perhaps here, waiting at the finish line. So, roll animal handling. As the pack of dinosaurs start making their way towards, like, the final turn.
Come on, crit. I need one today. Nope.
So,
That's a crit. That's a crit.
luckily, there's no penalty for a crit fail. Luckily for On the Nose. So Ubtau's favorite Banana Candy and Jungle Princess, all of them stay stuck together in one solid pack.
Oh my god.
Just the three of them are all butting into each other. The dinosaurs trailing continue to slowly make a bit of progress. Oh no, my pencil. Slowly make a bit of progress, but they're not doing too much. It seems to be
now?
you, so... Oh, that's off the table. Nasty Boy does not make any progress himself.
Oh my god.
You seem to have kind of knocked him off kilter with that as you struck him.
That's why you race with 4 legs.
Yeah, so he the driver of Nasty Boy just kind of runs his dinosaur back into yours, bumps you across the side for a 12 again versus AC. Just kind of bumps you, which kind of just like nudges your dinosaur sideways a bit, but it's fine.
This is NASCAR.
Let's bump back.
I'm into this, man.
Yeah, this is exciting.
I'm into this.
Oh, it's only 11.
Yeah.
It's 11, which is not enough. You guys, you bump. He bumps you. You kind of go off course a little bit. You come swinging back in, bump him. But he doesn't slow either of you down. Make another round of checks. As the racers get closer and closer to that finish line.
So, no, that seems like a very bad item for me.
So, Ooptao's favorite, Banana Candy and Jungle Princess, we'll do them first. Ooptao's favorite begins to push its way out of the pack. You kind of look behind you, and all of a sudden, Ooptao's favorite's now gaining on you. Seems to be, it's gotten some kind of second wind burst of speed. It looks pretty roughed up. Like, it's got a lot of kind of like scrapes and that in his paint. It looks like you got in quite a bit of a thrashing between Banana Candy and Jungle Princess. But the other two are still kind of neck and neck, biting and snipping at each other. You know, the other guys in the back are continuing to plod along. Nasty Boy pushes ahead and starts to move ahead of you.
Oh.
So, as we're getting into the home stretch, as you're going through the final turn, Nasty Boy's in the lead. Jez not too far behind it, but followed very closely by Ooptao's favorite. Ooptao's favorite tries to bump you, Jez, as it kind of comes swinging on and gets an 18 versus AC.
That hits.
So all of a sudden you feel just like this rocking sensation as you are bumped from behind by this other Triceratops to the tune of 5 damage.
Yeah.
So, it is up to you. You can swing your tail, kind of try and knock him off balance. Or you
Why
can
not?
leave him,
It's
or you can
unchanged
leave
at
him
this point.
alone and we can keep on racing.
Unchained at this point.
So,
No.
Yeah, you kind of
Too
kick
rattled.
it. You kick it on the nose and he starts like wildly swinging his tail back and forth, but it's not enough to dismay Ooptao's favorite. So
Do I want to whip? I don't know if I want to whip.
I feel like that's a big. I feel like it's a big risk.
Yeah.
What was it you need to do to whip? You need to roll a constitution.
well, no, he'll get advantage on the animal handling check, but then at the end of this round, he'll get there's a Constitution check, and if he fails that, it'll cut the dino's speed in half.
What was do I know what this constitution of this dinosaur is?
Yeah, +2. You know you have a +2 on the thing, and it's a DC 10.
He has 200, right? Like
Yeah, he's at 200.
200 of
If
300.
he gets to 75, even if his
It
speed
won't
gets
matter.
cut in half,
Yeah, I should just do it.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so much the number, though. It's the fact that he gets advantage so that he has a
Yeah.
better chance of
Okay.
actually hitting
exactly,
the number.
that's what I mean.
All right, do it then.
Then I'll whip it.
You take your riding crop and you start smacking
Sorry, boy.
on the
Aw.
nose. He kind of tilts his big old head back and just kind of like howls out.
Lol.
Oh,
I
no.
know.
He howls out, and like the pain just kind of spurs him forward, and he starts charging. You charge forward out of the reach of Ooptao's favorite, and you kind of blow past Nasty Boy. Nasty Boy does not have enough to kind of surge past you,
Oh my god.
so you are now like not quite neck and neck, but you're probably a good like dino's head further. So you're a car length ahead of
Oh my god.
Nasty Boy
What's
as
a
you guys
car
are
length?
like coming in close. You guys are right in front of the finish line, charging forward.
Here's my constitution saving throw.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Needs to be a 10 or higher.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Nat on the nose seems to be taking it just fine. He seems to be built pretty tough. Seems to have no problem taking that whipping.
I'm gonna have to whip him
Nasty
again.
Boy is going to take this opportunity to take another swing at you, though, for 16 versus AC.
You cut out, what was that? For what?
16 versus AC. As
That
Nasty
hit.
Boy, like, tries to just chomp down on your tail as you blow past him. And successfully does it. To the tune of 6 damage.
Oh,
No.
that was so close.
Does that put you below 50%?
It is 50%.
That's not below. You still... and you are still technically...
Because I'm at 19 of 38.
Oh my god.
10 years still good. 'Cause I did say below 50%. Yeah,
I'm
well,
going
whatever.
to-
I'm not going to look it up.
I'm
It
not
would be-
gonna.
I would say it's
swing
below.
back, and I'm
So,
gonna
yeah, you're-
redouble my racing.
What was that?
I said I'm not gonna swing back this time.
Okay,
I'm gonna
yeah,
redouble
you're
my
too
racing.
focused.
Yeah.
All right. Make what is hopefully your last animal handling check. Are you
I'm
going to
gonna whip him.
whip?
Yeah.
Or are you going to continue
Where
to
does-
whip, we shall
Where
say?
there's a whip, there's a way.
All right.
Oh, you bitch.
Oh my god.
That's so close.
So I'm going to roll the only important one. Nasty Boy is still neck and neck with you. He does not go blow past you to the finish line.
No, he's gonna smack me.
He is definitely going to try to. I should roll
Actually,
for the
doesn't
other.
matter.
I should roll for the other dinosaurs, but you guys have kind of blown so far ahead of the pack. Ooptow's favorite is now brought upon by Banana Candy. Like you can hear, not that far behind you, you can see Ooptow's favorite kind of getting chomped at by Banana Candy, and you see Jungle Princess is kind of in that mix as well. The three of them are just kind of jostling at each other, constantly ramming into each other, biting each other, and it's slowing all three of them down. Just the infighting in that pack. It is basically down to between you and Nasty Boy, head to head for this race. You don't think, unless something horrible happens, you think that one of the two of you is winning this race.
Is he swinging at me, I take
Nasty
it?
Boy's gonna chomp at your tail again, and he's gonna miss.
Saving throw for whipping.
Constitution saving
Oh.
throw.
He's slow.
Damn.
So
Oh,
you,
well.
well, no, that's
That brings it down to 25, which is still the time that I need,
Yep.
anyways. But
so yeah. You feel like On the Nose has given almost all that he can give. That like he's quickly running out of steam and he's ready to collapse. If this race had been much longer, you don't think he would have made it.
he's a sprinter, not a long.
Basically, you don't want to enter him into like the 800-meter dinosaur race. Like the 400 is just fine.
I take it after they slow down, you can't whip them, right? Or it doesn't.
Doesn't say, so I don't see why you couldn't. You just risk making your dinosaur even slower.
It does.
Well, it says it halves your speed. It doesn't say you can no longer
Oh.
whip them anymore. So, like if you whipped them again and then failed the Constitution, then you
It
cut
would
their
be down
speed
to
in half
12.
again and again to the point where they go like 4 feet. To the point where there's no point in continuing the race, essentially. So.
Well, I can basically only win if I whip. Or well, it gives me a much better chance of winning, like 50-50
Make-
chance.
what is probably this time the final.
Oh my god.
2 numbers.
No.
So you just start kind of whipping On the Nose.
Oh my god.
He kind of cries out. You can feel that his legs are starting to just like give out from under him, but he still kind of keeps like scrambling them and manages to
need a
keep
medic.
himself vertical just long enough to inch out Nasty Boy as Nasty Boy finds a burst of speed and begins to just blow past you. But you cross back under the arch a couple of feet ahead, and the crowd goes wild.
I won, guys.
You desperately try to wrangle him in as you like almost plow into like a cart, like a merchant cart, as you kind of run out the like trying to slow him down after the race. and you hear from the you hear the announcer, the guy who started the whole race, booming over the crowd. It's like, what an upset! On the nose wins by a nose. Can you believe it, folks?
That joke was on the nose.
Like, what an incredible race, ladies and gentlemen. Who would have thought?
Happy right
Like
now.
I'm screaming. I'm just
I
like,
am. Yeah, no, Karan's having the time of his life.
So, yeah,
Next
you
session, Bones like, what I miss?
manage to wrangle your dinosaur to a stop, and as you do, he just kind of like collapses onto his belly. He's just kind of like breathing heavy.
So it's that scene in
Poor
Jurassic
thing.
Park where I just lay on the stomach.
Yeah,
And it breathes in and
pretty
out.
much. As he's just kind of like lying there sideways, just like trying to catch its breath. You see like Nasty Boy kind of like stumble past you, and the rider just kind of like gives you like this sort of menacing glare as he like sort of walks past, kind of like extremely annoyed that you beat him, like almost a look of like, if it wasn't for you, this would have been my race.
can we run down to them?
Yep, you start making your way down. Big crowd starts to like form around Rada. He's one of the first one to make it there. He's got this huge bucket of water that he's kind of like dragging with him. He's like, I cannot believe you did it. And he starts like just freaking out, like he can't believe that one of his dinosaurs just won a race.
When I get there, I want to lay on hands the dinosaur. I want to lay on
Karan
hands.
comes
on
down
the
and gives
nose.
Cass a hug. He can't quite pick her up, so he just gives her a hug.
Okay. How much HP you giving the dinosaur, Pyro?
How much is it missing?
19.
19.
I'll give it 19.
Okay. So you just kind of magically rub down the belly of the dinosaur, and it just kind of like makes like purring noises and just kind of like
Good
slowly
Lord.
gets up onto its feet. And it starts like butting its head into the side of you.
Oh.
I'm gonna hug it.
So you guys are all
I gotta
relishing in
apologize
your
to this diner so bad.
Aw.
Dinosaur so bad.
Dinosaur?
Diner.
So, like, as you guys are celebrating, you see a familiar person kind of like part through the crowd. The crowd kind of separates and allows these two gentlemen to walk through. One of them being Ifan Tauroa.
You didn't think we were gonna do it.
I didn't think we were gonna do it.
I'm really surprised that you finished first.
I knew I was gonna do it.
So, Ifan,
Karan probably believed.
you
Totally
see
did.
him like big grin on his face, like clapping his hands, and he turns to the gentleman that's like walking with him, and he says, "What did I tell you, Otamu? My new friends here, they did it. They won the race." And you see that he's accompanied by the gentleman who like shot the like fireworks out of his hand that like started the race. The other Ifan kind of brings the other gentleman over. Says, "My friends, this is Wakanga Otamu, another one of the merchant princes of Port Nine Zaru." It's like
Someone that we need to talk to.
Wakanga kind of gives you guys like a big smile and like a very like polite bow, and says, "Congratulations on your incredible race. It is almost unheard of strangers to come to this land and win one of our races in the very first time, and especially one of Rada's dinosaurs. Not known for their speed, but this is quite the interesting day."
So you're saying there's a lot against us.
Is it indeed? You beat out many seasoned racers. So Ifan kind of comes over. You see him like checking out the dinosaur, and he kind of goes up to Rada, and he's like, "It's like perhaps we will have to discuss your place in the breeding hierarchy. You've done well. You've done well, Rada. This is a magnificent beast. So perhaps things shall be different for you from now on." And then Rada's just like Thank you, sir. He's like just super like just like bowing over and over again and like super happy that Ifan's taking such a huge interest in him.
I'm gonna go and give Rada a high five.
You kind of put your hand up, and he just kind of like puts his hand up and just kind of like waves to you. He's like, I don't understand.
I was like, oh.
Okay.
He's like, I see, foreign greeting. Yes. So Wakanga comes up to the rest of you.
Just double thumbs up all around. Making sure not to look any suspiciously. Kind of make thumbs up and just like, yep, that's cool. That's great. Look, where's everybody? Yeah, great.
I'm gonna look around for Volo.
Has a good money on you.
Yeah, you should go get that.
Yeah, so Wakanga kind of comes up to you and is like, so, Ifan tells me that you have journeyed here from the north for, some specific reason, and that you wanted to speak to me. It's like, tell me, what brings you here to Port Nyanzaru?
Well, it might be more
Would we
sensitive.
have this discussion in a little bit more of a private setting?
Yeah. It might not be a discussion for marketplace or the streets.
He's like, I see. Well, he tells you, I tell you what. I shall have all of you as my guests of honor for dinner tonight at my villa. It will not... He basically tells us, like, it's like, of the villas, it is in the south... Actually, no, it's not. It's in the southeastern corner. To the left of the bridge to Golden Throne. You cannot miss it. I shall make sure that you are expected. But please enjoy your victory in the meantime. And he just again gives you like a very gracious like bow, and then kind of like wanders back through the crowd. The crowd just sort of separate for him, not so much out of fear, but out of more like reverence. Like these guys are super important, and everybody seems to like and respect Wakanga. Goddamn tabaxi.
I love that he was just looking down and then
So
Something happened in Jez's camera. It's black for me.
Oh, it's gone now.
it's gone now. I reconnected to get it back, and now it's gone again.
Oh, bye, Pyro. Oh, Pyro's back.
I reconnected.
Okay.
It's still black for me.
Yeah, I think it's Jez, not us. So, yeah, Ifan comes back over. He's like, well, I guess now we have our presentation.
User in your channel timed
Oh,
out.
there goes Jez.
Oh, he's really gone.
So, Ifan kind of puts his arm around Jez's shoulders. And he's like, come. It's like, we have our presentation to have. And he's like, Rada, keep a good eye on that dinosaur. And he sort of leads Jez up and around towards the top of that archway, that bridge. Where the stage was, where they started the race.
he froze my computer.
So basically, Ifan's leading you up to the stage where the announcer started the race. The rest of you, I would imagine, probably stay with the dinosaur, hang out. Ifan kind of just dragged him away.
Well, doesn't Wacky have to go to?
Yeah, Wacky could
the wedding place?
go collect her money.
I could, yeah. I'll go do that.
So, as Ifan's going around through the crowd, and Jez, you can feel every few feet you feel a different Chultan villager, townsperson sort of grab one of your hands and kind of start shaking it, and people are touching you and groping at you, but not in a hostile way. It's like when you see a wrestler go through the crowd and everyone's like, oh, I want to touch them. It's like, yeah, they're sweaty, yay! It's basically a lot like what it is. Wacky, you head to the bookie's tent. You kind of push your way past a whole bunch of disgruntled looking people that clearly did not win their bets. And you make it to the counter and hand in your ticket. And the guy just kind of looks at it and looks at you. And he's like, son of a bitch. Like
I
how?
told you that luck was on our side.
I feel like he probably cleaned up today though.
And then he just kind of like points to like one of the other guys, like, pay him. And you see them like count out a bunch of gold. They count out a whole bunch of gold in front of you, put it into like a couple large sacks, count you out. Well, I know I can do this math in my head, but I'm just not going to. 150 times 8. 1,200 gold. So they count you out 1,200 gold and put it into like a couple like decent size like change like purses. Probably like a couple of 500s and maybe a 200. So that it's not just like one gigantic bag for you to carry. And the guy, after the guy's done counting it out, he just kind of like bluntly is like, "Don't spend it all in one place." He seems very upset that he's having to pay you out this amount of money.
As I'm leaving, I give him a wink and 2 pistols, and I'm like, "I won't." Then I'm just out. Go back to meet with the rest.
So Jez, you get taken up on stage. The announcer's there, and as Ifan is standing beside you, sort of like holding up your hand in victory. And the announcer's like, today's victor, the rider of On the Nose. And then he's just sort of leans and like, what is your name?
Of course it would be him.
Oh shit, I forgot I wasn't prepared. Oh shit, 1 second. Why didn't I not write this down? Or did I write it down? I wrote it down.
Do-
Can I get Jez's cam back? Nope, Jez's cam is just not there anymore.
I want to see, like, can I... Well, that's what he's asking him. Like, I'm pretty sure I can
Hey,
figure it out.
lady,
Like,
what's your
clue.
name?
Like, oh, shit.
Cassiopeia, Lorelei, Gwendolyn, Isabella, Harpel.
Cassiopeia! And then the announcer just starts like clapping with like the bullhorn thing in his hand. And Ifan like sort of like reaches down and presents you with this fancy like wooden trophy that's got like this kind of crudely carved like dinosaur head on it and like bits of like gold filigree here and there. And then you are also presented with a purse, the winning purse of the race, 1,000 gold.
Oh my god.
You make more
Women.
than that.
Yeah, but Wacky also had to put money down for it.
So, and you're given 1,000 gold. You're given a fancy trophy. They put like a big flowery like lei around your neck, like a kind of like a wreath you see in like horse racing, kind of something like a big, huge, thick, flowery wreath.
I did write
The
it
people
down.
cheer for you. You stand up like on the stage, kind of like holding up the trophy. Everyone's clapping. You hear the crowd starting to chant "On the Nose" over and over again. Yeah, it kind of blurs together. Like they're not really that great at chanting, but you can kind of hear it. You come back down. You find that like they've presented like your dinosaur's got like a matching big giant lei of like flowers around its neck.
Is he trying to eat them?
No, because they kind of tucked it like underneath of his neck. He's probably moving like back and forth, trying to kind of get it off his head, but kind of gives up after a couple of minutes. I mean, you got a saddle and all that stuff strapped to him, and he's covered in paint, so.
Yeah, I'd let you know when you said it was probably going to be unchained. I was like, well, I gotta have a way for my familiar to go up and down my leg in case they like, instead of like just dinosaurs attacking, they were like cutting my saddle off. I could send him down there to mend. Because I can cast through my familiar.
You should have thrown your familiar at one of the other dinosaurs and had the familiar start attacking. So, Rada comes up to you afterwards and says, "So, like, what are your plans beyond this? It's like you now have a race-winning dinosaur. Like, are you going to keep him? Keep racing? And is there any place in particular you're thinking of keeping him?"
Well, it's probably going to be a one race, one shot. I'm going to go out on top. But the dinosaur is going to be kept at Rada's. Rada's breeding. And I say that with a smile and a thumbs up,
He's like,
like
so
an advertisement.
he tells you it's like, so this is normally where we would broker a stud fee, where I would pay you money to stud out your dinosaur so that I can breed new racers from it. But if you're keeping him at my place, I also need to charge you for room and board and to take care of it. Perhaps we can just kind of waive things on each side. Your dinosaur can live on my ranch, and he will be fed and taken very good care of. And I can use him to create new racers.
Well-
This is good deal, yes?
I don't know. Do we want to sell him back?
Well, no, he's not asking to sell him. Well, you could also
I
sell
know.
him back, but
I don't know.
he's not specifically asking for that. But he does say, like, if you wish to sell him back to me, that is also
think he'd
an
be-
option.
Does your land have plenty of roaming space?
He says at least as much as any of the other ranches, and there is ample open fields, to the
Wait,
south
who
of
is talking to
Nyanzaru.
It's Rada, the guy who
Oh.
got it.
Okay.
Yeah, like the guy that bred the dinosaur. He wants to trade you room and board for the dinosaur for him being able to stud it out, or
I think-
you can sell it back to him.
I think we would like to work out a deal where we just sell it back to him for studying out and advertisements. Advertisements, if you're.
Oh, so
British.
you want to sell ownership back to him, or you want him to just
Yeah. That way, like, he's not going to be happy by himself. Be better with the rest of the dinosaurs.
Well, no, he'd still that's if you want to keep. You can either keep ownership of him and let him stay with Rada, basically for free. You get nothing, he gets nothing. Or you can just sell him for some money, and then Rada can just do whatever he wants with him. Basically, for the dinosaur, it's gonna end up being the same thing.
Yeah.
But he say like if it makes things easier for you, I will take ownership of the dinosaur again. If you wish to ever race him, I would be happy to allow you to saddle him as your mount for any race you choose to participate in.
Don't think lightning strikes twice.
I mean, lightning strikes multiple times. Got the most important bit.
Why do you guys just
They've proven that lightning can strike the same place twice.
Yeah. It's completely false in every way. I don't know. I think owning a dinosaur is a big responsibility.
Are you sure you could take care of it?
You have to feed it, you have to bathe it, you have to walk it.
Watch this. Can I take care of this dinosaur?
You still have advantage on your rolls. Are you whipping him?
He tells you that
I don't-
he doesn't make doesn't really make a whole lot of money, so he's not in a position to pay what maybe some other people would pay. You get the impression he doesn't outright tell you this, but you kind of get the impression that you could probably make some more money if you sold him to one of the more well-known racing teams or breeders. He says I can go as
Rada.
Rada's our boy.
he said I can go as high as I could give you 400 gold. It is
have a lot
kind
of
of pushing things for me, but I expect my business to pick up in the coming weeks due to this victory, so I think I can afford that.
How about 250 now, and when we come back, the 150 after you have made money.
You're negotiating for him to pay you the same amount of money, just not all
Yeah,
of it
just-
now.
Just
Yeah,
in installments.
what does that help him or us?
It helps him.
Well, no, it helps
for multiple
him. It's
reasons.
like Jez is negotiating for
him to
him to be
still have
better
money.
off in all ways from this
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. I'm trying to be nice to him.
I'm
Okay.
down.
He says that is extremely fair deal.
And maybe next time I'll see about buying a dinosaur that is a little bit smaller from you.
You could strap him to the bottom of your airship, take him with you.
Oh my.
Yeah, but
18.
Just,
I think I would
just on the
probably
bottom.
want a
just
small
hanging
dinosaur in
out.
general.
Like, you think you could. Well, you're just assuming. You don't know if you physically actually could, or if Gadrin
Yeah.
would actually allow you to do that.
Not to mention we'd strap him there, and then little thing would be like, "It's mine now."
Mine now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you brought me this present. He is mine now.
But yeah,
Like,
I
on the
will-
nose, you work for me now.
I'll put
You and the
a little
dwarf.
IOU next time we see Rita for the 150, but I'll just do the 250 now.
Yep.
So it's like we didn't spend any money at all.
Basically, it's like almost like you guys just made a shit ton of money.
And that too. That's why I wasn't so worried.
Bro, we made some fucking bank today.
Good thing there's a whole lot to spend it on in 5th edition.
Yeah.
Well,
we do want to go and make ourselves the outfits.
if you plan on
Yeah.
leaving Nyanzaru and going into the jungles of Cholt, you are going to need to purchase a whole boatload of provisions. So
Yeah, we do.
money is not a bad thing to have. So
Do we want that shopping episode be off the air?
well,
Probably just gonna be.
yeah, that's going to be because you're going to like by the time you settle up from this, you have dinner at the Otamu residence, which we will pick up next session. So I think that is going to do it. Somehow you guys have miraculously won a dinosaur race.
I
We're
don't
so
know
happy.
how that happened. I honestly did
worst
not expect
character.
this to.
The worst character.
So
Gotta say.
Meanwhile, the most popular dinosaur literally just stopped running.
yep, the yeah, the favorite, the odds-on favorite big honker
He was my
rolled
favorite
double
too.
fours on his advantage
way.
and then rolled a
Myra.
2 on his con modifier or con
His name
save.
was Big
Wouldn't-
Honker.
Wasn't he supposed to rampage
How
at
can
the
you
point?
hate that?
You traitor.
Yeah, well,
You really want to talk?
I have not betrayed any of you yet.
Boy, when I find out you're working with the Zents.
I'm not working with them. I haven't had a time to talk.
so
Yeah, it's been pretty go go go.
yeah, so we will pick things up next week with the visit to Wakongo Otamu's residence. That is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you guys all for coming. Remember my ending screen for a change. Thank you all for coming. See you guys next week as we continue our adventures in Cholt.